Welcome to the show. Summer premiere, BALLBUSTERS, all new. Episode 122. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Push it on over to Discord and see if the distinguished Nathan Oakley is there. Nathan Oakley, sir.
Hello, how's it going?
Good.
Good to be here. Good. Been a while.
Been too long.
Yeah, everyone's good to be here. We've got a few new ballbusters on the show. Got a brand new shiny intro as courtesy of Adam Meakin. Thank you very much, Adam. I was just watching that. Very nice indeed. Of the colour of the lettering. Long.
I knew that was coming. You'll have that, though. Good job, Adam.
That was fantastic.
It's the best damn intro in the business.
Indeed.
Yes.
I'm going to do something that you weren't expecting, but it's going to be a bit of an impromptu fundraiser. I know we've just done yours. Off the back of yours, you wouldn't expect it.
No, I was expecting it.
Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So one of our moderators, which is Divergent Droid, is having also some pretty serious financial woes. Not the best of timing, as obviously we've literally just done one for QE, but needs must, and when these things happen, obviously we like to support the people who are supporting us, and of all the moderators, Divergent Droid gets the most mentions because he's undoubtedly, no offense to any other moderators, the best moderator out there. He does an exceptionally good job. So he has, like I say, got some financial woes at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and copy the link and stick it in the live stream chat right now. Hopefully that will go through. Yes, it has. So there's a link to Divergent Droid's Give, Send, Go campaign going by in the live stream chat now. And yeah, please give generously. There's information about what the campaign is about and why it's been put in place in the campaign itself. As I said with QE's campaign, if indeed you can't necessarily afford to financially support Divergent Droid, go and send him some kind words. There's a button that says prayer, and you can leave him some kind words. You all know who he is. Or if indeed you haven't got the finances to support him in that manner, then share the link. That does make a big difference to whether or not the campaign is successful. So click on the share button and share the link. And hopefully we'll get him a bit of financial support, which he's desperately in need of at the moment. So there we go.
Divergent Droid has... I can't even believe it. I never asked Divergent Droid for anything. Nothing. He did this all on his own. He's in the background. He's always monitoring the chat. If we talk about a specific topic, he's got the actual substance of the topic in video format or some link. He's faster than lightning, and he goes about it. Thankless job. Doesn't say anything. So we need to support him. And from what I read, just briefly, it's tragic. So if you can, as Nathan pointed out, if you can help, please do.
Yeah, as I say, that's going by in the live stream chat now. So click on that link. If you can give $5, that would be absolutely fantastic. If you can give him 5,000, that would be fantastic too. Everything will be greatly received, and we will give you all a shout out. I'll go back to it towards the end of the show. See if anybody's popped by, said some nice words, hopefully dropped a few bucks on Divergent Droid's door. I'll shout you all out if you do. I'm just doing mine now, which is probably why I'm sounding a little bit distracted.
I went ahead and pinned that too, Nathan.
Pin the comment for Divergent Droids to the Give, Send, Go.
Yes.
Perfect. I've just dropped 20 quid on you, so I'm going to shout myself out. Shout out to Nathan Oakley, who is absolutely ace. There you go. All done. Hopefully that'll be successful for you, Divergent Droid. We'll keep an eye on it throughout the show. There's a couple of contributors already, so there's been an anonymous donator who gave him $500 straight off the bat. Annoyed because I like to be the first one, but I'm second again.
That's
so
awesome. Just awesome. Yeah. Sure.
We're going to have a change of plan today. So, leading up to this show, we were actually going to be covering Wits It, Gets It versus Professor Dave Explains.
Cream of wheat.
Cream of wheat. Right. But there's something better came up, which is good that we are, we're not like a big ocean liner that takes a long time to turn. We're a speedboat. We can turn on a dime and drop the show that we were going to do in favour of a better show. And the show that we're going to cover, I actually already covered in the middle of the week, but I just didn't cover it to its fullest extent, which you don't know when you're on a timed amount of time. I'm not. I can do whatever I like, but I want to keep the show to about an hour and a half. And by the time we got to about the 7th or 8th rendition of Dave being asked the same question by the host, I gave up and just thought it was extremely amusing and was singing the praises of Mr. Peterson, in this case, the host. But there's more to it, quite a lot more, as it turns out. So we're going to be covering that today because it does have quite a lot more meat on the bone, which you wouldn't think, considering what we'd already covered about it. I thought that was it. It isn't. There's more to it. Shocking, isn't it? But that's what we're covering today. So it's what's his first name? I know his surname's Peterson.
It's Jesse Lee Peterson.
Jesse Lee Peterson, who is he's done like a birthday show, and then about the halfway mark, Dave Weiss joins him. I'm not going to spoil it in terms of what happens because obviously we're going to cover it today. But you're in for a rough ride if you're a Dave Weiss fan, unfortunately. Dave, if you're watching,
well, he's going to do it all himself. I mean, we're not going to help him. It's a train wreck by his own volition. And fortunately, because you see, I watched your show late. So I was listening to it, and I said, let me go ahead and write down how many times he was asked the question and his answers. So I wrote it all out. I transcribed it. I typed it all out up to, I think you got to 8. And then I said, okay, well, he ended the show. Nathan ended the show. That must be the end of it. And I went ahead and put it out in Discord and in Skype, the transcript of it. And then I said, well, wait a second. Let me go ahead, because I want to listen to the end of it, too. I want to see if there's anything else in here. So I pulled it up, and it went from 8 or 9 times that Jesse asked him the question, and I'm not going to give anything away. If you guys haven't listened to it, we're going to listen to it again, till it went to 20 times. 20. And you are not going to believe right around the 15 time mark that Jesse Lee asked him the question directly, because Dave was squirming and fumbling and stumbling and trying to divert away from the question. So Jesse just kept on asking him more or less the same question. And you are not going to believe how this ends up. Well, you will believe it if you know the scammers. So if you're unfamiliar...
You're not going to believe... Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, you're not going to believe the question that he's tied up over either. I mean, by rights, we should all be horrified.
Yeah.
You hear the question, you'll be like, what? How can this tie a flat earther up in knots? Sorry.
Wait a second. Super duper, super mustache, super booger.
He's so shy today, but Platypus sent, been watching for a long time. Here's something for putting up with my BS.
Well, thank you very much, Platypus. And ironically, not to get off topic, but last night, see, Platypus, we are gonna get off topic a little bit. Last night, I'm in 24/7 Discord. I met Platypus. He's a Glober about 3 or 4 years ago in 24/7, right? So I know Platypus. We've gone back and forth many times. He surprised me with a little nugget from a show that we did regarding celestial navigation. And if you guys remember the show, it was a gentleman, an officer in the Navy, that produced a show discussing how celestial navigation works with all his right-angle triangles. I know you guys all remember this. And then at the bottom, he had a special note where he said that what he just did and educated everyone on that really isn't the way it's done. Because
Oh, it was in a comment. No, was he not a videographer?
no, it was in his
And-
description.
Yeah, and I thought I was going to say comment, but it wasn't part of the body of the video. He'd gone back after the fact
Yes.
and then basically disavowed all of the information because he was getting hassled from ballers, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah. That really wasn't the case. What was really the case, and Platypus, and shout out to you for telling the truth. I had given that presentation, or part of that presentation, to Discord 4 or 5 days before it aired. Whether it might have been a Ballbusters, I don't know, or QE Live, I can't remember. But it turns out that Platypus, after listening to what I had to say on celestial navigation, and more important, to I think his name is John Zimmer, that was in the Navy and constructed the video. Platypus reached out to him on the day of or the day before the show and told him what was happening, that the flat earthers are using his video to promote the flat earth. That's when he went in. He even admitted that he was going to do it, that he was going to add a comment as a disclaimer to flat earth. Unbelievable, right? Yep, there you go. We'll get to that. That's going to be a show. I might get to that next week. We'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to let everyone know about that. So it's kind of ironic. So thanks a lot, Platypus, for the 5 minutes. Thank you for your honesty.
Can I shout out Evening? Evening!
Yeah, he's been quiet, hasn't he?
I want to shout him out. I love my new logo. I appreciate that. It's beautiful.
Just your new logo or the intro itself?
All the
All
logos.
of
There's
it.
loads of
I
there's
figured
loads
we
of
would.
logos.
Yeah, I figured we would have a conversation about that with him, but he's quiet. Yeah, the intro was awesome. Absolutely.
Glad you like it, Flatsy. Stop QE nagging at me.
Is it the same length?
Very good.
Yep, there
No,
he
no,
is.
no.
North Africa speaks.
And Flatsy, I have to say, Flatsy's piece is the best. I have to say it. I thought mine was going to take it, but no, Flatsy's actually looks awesome.
I like your part.
Nathan's is the most boring. I don't even remember what was there for Nathan. Just Nathan Oakley, that's it.
Nathan's is very front foot forward. I've changed all the text so that it reflects where we're at now. So it is the same but different.
I think he did an outstanding job on that. And I wasn't bugging you. I told you about 2.5 years ago we needed to change the intro. Now, it didn't happen. I didn't bug you every week and say, oh, Adam, where's the intro? It didn't happen like that. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We have to.
Now, Time Bandits, I was a little bit more heavy on that, but Betty has taken up the flag on that.
No rush for that one.
No, there
Shout out
isn't.
to Betty.
Shout out to Betty who couldn't be here. She's spending time with her family. That's why I don't want to get into the particulars, but she's listening. All right, should we get back on the David Weiss train?
Just
You mean discussing it before we? Yes. As I was saying
where's
previously
Neil?
before, that's my bad.
Hold on a second. You're getting rumpus by Adam, Nathan. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, just before you move on, where's Neil? He's waited for a very long time for this. I've not
Isn't he
heard
here?
out from him. I don't know. Is he
Yeah,
passed out or
He's
something?
there, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in here, but he's a little gun shy with his mic because his mic never works really well on this show.
Ew.
So
Ew. Ew.
Yeah, Neil
Ruining my
spoke
joke. I was
earlier.
about
and
to tell him to
he
shut up
did
as
do
soon as he said
a mic
anything.
test.
somebody rumpused you again, Nathan. I mean, you're getting rumpus
I know.
like you wouldn't believe today.
All right. That's fine.
It's probably that lumpy atom in a vacuum.
Neil,
Trim that out.
just say something, man. Even if it's a train wreck.
Gone. What?
Oh, he's gone. He obviously tried to say something. Okay, I will get that sentence out. Right. So, as a flat earther, when you listen to this video that we're covering today, the question that's tying Dave up should horrify you, as in, there's no rhyme or reason to being tied up by the specific question that's being asked. It should be the easiest question in the world to answer, especially given that we've been covering this specific question for the last 6 months since 2024. So yeah, it's a bit of a disgrace, really. It's very disappointing. It's one of those you don't know whether to laugh or cry.
But not
I
surprising.
wasn't disappointed because
Go ahead. Sorry about that, Brian. Go ahead.
I was just I stepped on you actually. I was just saying I wasn't disappointed. I had no time for the guy, and I knew what he was at for years. Like,
Sure.
nothing to be disappointed about. That's what he is, a lowlife.
Well,
Wasn't disappointed because I'm not Dave's dad. I was surprised though that actually that was his response. It's not so much the crappiness of his answer; it's the inability to actually admit he's a flat earther that shocks me in this. This is the shocking thing for me. And when we watched it on Nathan's, I was saying, oh, what a great first question to have. It's everything we want moving forward, which is what, Nathan, I've put in your little bit of car scene. All those front foot statements that we can proudly make change the tide of the topic, which is it's flat. Not let me tell you why it's not a ball. A long time and a lot of hard work to get to be able to make those statements positively. So that's the initial disappointing bit for me. That rain hasn't been taken up. Then it's a little bit more interesting later on, isn't it? As it's kind of like a truth serum. He can't answer this question.
was it surprising?
Well, I can.
What? Hold on.
Yes.
Was it surprising to you?
It's shocking in the way that the like a politician, when you keep asking them a question, will you stop immigration? And there's no definitive answer. And because of the nature of the question that's being asked him, it's just a shocking response each time as he ducks, dives, and, like I say, behaves like a politician in answering what should be a very simple question for a supposed flat earther, Flat Earth Dave, in 2024.
Exactly, that's the problem. His title that he's ascribed himself, right? So I'll use your example. You said immigration. Let's pretend for a moment that we are, in this example, Dave is very anti-immigration. I'm not saying that to trigger anybody. It's just because it's a nice, easy example to make. If he was called anti-immigration Dave, that's the name he went by, and someone said to him, so do you think we should stop immigration? And he couldn't answer. You'd be like, what? This guy stands for stopping immigration. That's his raison d'etre. It's his name that he's given himself. So when asked, did you want to stop immigration? And he doesn't just say, yes. You'd be horrified if that was your cause. Not that I'm suggesting anybody should have an anti-immigration cause. I have no opinion on it either way. It was Adam's example. Blame him. But if he was called anti-immigration Dave and couldn't answer a question about whether or not we should stop immigration, you'd be horrified if that was your cause, would you not?
Yeah. Duh.
Stop immigration. Well, let me first ask you. You define immigration.
Nice one.
I know it's not a roast chicken. I know it's definitely not a roast chicken. And I can be good with the fact that immigration's not roast chicken.
Hold on. That's a great analogy, but I hear somebody in the background. It's a booger. Super mustache, super duper, super booger.
Yeah, AI, he said, how many curvilinear tangents does a reciprocally sloped horizon have?
Yeah, thanks. That's been a running theme for a long time. Not to move away from this outstanding example and the parody here between Nathan and Adam. This is exactly how it's going to go today for David Weiss. Exactly. You couldn't have said it any better. However, you're missing one thing because you didn't go far enough. Now, he dodged. He did the old rope-a-dope up until about question 15 or 16. He did finally give 2 definite answers. Did you guys know that? I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to let Dave do it. But
no, I haven't listened to the rest.
Yep. He did it. Get ready. So let's take a look at this just in case everyone forgot. Let me show you who the...
Hold on.
What?
I'll do a shout out.
Good.
Shout out to Jerry Merciel for supporting Divergent Droid's Give Send Go campaign. Thank you very much indeed for contributing. It says, keep on keeping on with a thumbs up. Thank you very much for supporting the campaign with $200. Woohoo! Thank you very much indeed.
He's going to smoke me.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
people
might.
like Divergent Droid more than you.
Yeah,
I would
probably.
expect so.
Okay, can I continue now?
Can now, yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So, as I've reviewed before, and maybe it really hasn't resonated yet, let's take a look on who the true scammers are. There they are right there. I've went over this with you before. So, we got the 3 Musketeers, the 3 Stooges, the 3 incoherent amigos. We got Austin, Boy Zero the Sky Grifter. We got Jaren, Hanoi Jaren, and we got Dave over here. Now, we haven't spent too much time on Dave until today. Now, and you say QE, well, that's a heck of a charge to call somebody a scammer without support. Okay, here's the scam. This is just one example of the scam. And we're going to come back to how ironic. We're going to come back to this. You'll know what I mean when you hear it. So, we have the True Earth Mount Meru 2 Virtual Summit sponsored by these knuckleheads. And notice the 2 in here. So that means there's more than one. There had to be one. They've hidden their idiot ether truths behind a paywall. See it? Buy now. These are all the levels of their idiot ether truths behind the paywall. Wonder what's the difference between $50 and $125 with the ether truths? I have no idea. Maybe on one hand they define it one way, and then Lion Surat doublespeak it another way into this group. Maybe that's the difference. And a cherry on top 200 annual. There it is, folks. I would love to see a defense attorney try to put up a case against the scammers and the scam that I just presented here right now. I'd love that. I'd frickin' see their ass. Yeah, y'all got it. So we're gonna focus on that scammer over here. This one, right here. But it's gonna go into more than just a scam. You got anything to say about that?
So go on then. Let's see.
Let's see what. You want to get right into it?
Yeah, I want to get into it. I mean, the whole paywall ether thing is kind of, it's an ancillary, or what's the word? A fringe to this, right? I know we will often cover that, but that isn't the main event here, right?
No. I just wanted to associate the true scam and scam with this. And we'll see if it dovetails somewhere. You never know.
Fair enough.
All right, we're good. Hit QE live in Discord, and we're going to get on with it. Let me check settings. Had to turn it down a little bit. That intro was a little loud. Let's go with a 2-banger. Yeah. All right, everyone ready? Here we go.
So I have with me a flat earther.
You sure about
low
that?
in here.
That's great. Yeah, sounds
Say
good
again?
for me. You can turn it up internally, Adam, on the thing. There's a volume for yourself.
Forgive me, I forgot to do a radio check. So let's do that first. I'm gonna play it again I just did a $5. I'm gonna play it forward and give me a yay or nay if you guys can't hear it. Here we go, 5 seconds.
Me, a flat earther.
We good?
Sounds great. Yeah.
All right. Adam, you good?
I can't hear it, but I'll try dropping.
Have you clicked on where it says live on
Right.
QE in Ballbusters?
Full volume.
Is it full
Adam.
Oh, okay.
I'll try dropping and come back in. It's cool.
Okay. Nathan, let me know when he comes back in. I
He's
am
back
gonna
in.
I am gonna wait. Oh, he's already back in.
He's back.
Press play.
All right, I'm gonna press play. We're gonna do this one more time. 5 seconds.
A flat earther. A flat.
Perfect, thanks.
You're good to go. And before we start, not to delay too much longer, I have never heard or seen this gentleman in my life until this show. And I don't know, it just happened, just the way things go, right? You just never run into him. He's never been on my radar. He never come across my desk. It seems that everyone else knows who he is. But I just love this guy. You're going to see why.
I do
Importantly
too.
to say,
Go ahead, Adam.
we did, but in no way in anything to do with flat Earth. I think this is the first time I've ever seen him broach the topic. He's normally deals in other issues.
That's probably why I didn't run into him. Any evolution or anything like that? He's never done anything like that before?
We'll do stuff like probably covered evolution, but it's normally evolution. It's normally stuff like Christianity, homosexuality, whinging black people.
Gotcha. Okay. Like I said, I never ran into him, but I'll tell you what, as Nathan already knows, or I'm sorry, as Adam already knows, but because we watched little bits of this together, I like this guy's, he's got a simplicity about him that you know that I would be attracted to it because I like it when it's simple and everyone can understand it. Even second grade retard, I just love it because he breaks it down, and it's very simple. You're a flat earther? Well, can you tell me, do you know for an absolute fact that the earth is flat? I mean, that's the question, right? That is the question. When you boil everything else, everything else is nonsensical. It's irrelevant. That is the question. So I love him for that. Now we're going to begin, okay?
Well, I want to add something as well, right? So, if as an audience member, keep an eye on Jesse. So, I know from producing a show how difficult it is to produce a show, and what he's doing is he's managing to put his looks onto the camera with good timing. It's like comedy. It's very difficult to time certain looks well to convey what you're thinking to the audience without them hearing a word from you, just looking into your eyes. And he's got that skill. So keep an eye on what he looks like. Don't just listen to the show. You've got to see what he's conveying with his eyes at certain moments.
Yes.
It's just epic.
It is.
Really is. It's very entertaining to behold.
I have one thing to say before you start.
No, go
the
ahead.
video.
Go ahead, sure.
Yeah, I've seen Jesse Lee Patterson. Is it Patterson or Peterson?
It's Peterson.
Peterson. Sorry, Jesse Lee Peterson. I've seen him in the past before, and I instantly took notice of him because he's pulling apart nonsense from other people, and he doesn't discriminate. He doesn't care who it's coming from. If it's nonsense, he's pulling it apart. So if he happens to watch this, we are impressed by you, Jesse. And if you want a real flat earther on our show, not a fraud like David Weiss, then come to any one of us and you will have a real flat earther on our show. People who do know for an absolute fact that it's flat and can prove it with measurement. And more than one process. 3 processes, more than 3 processes, of how the Earth is measured. I absolutely can prove it to you that it's a flat stationary plane.
Yes,
and
sir.
more. So if you want someone real on, come to us. Don't waste your time with frauds.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was good. I went back to YouTube. YouTube guys out there, I ran this a couple times, 5-second clips. Are you hearing it well? Might as well check with you guys before we start. So give me a thumbs up out there if the video was playing and the sound was coming through well for you. Just give me some thumbs up out there. Or thumbs down. Whichever it may be. So I can adjust a little bit before we start.
It's fine. I just went and checked it. It's absolutely fine. It's
It's
coming
good?
through nice
Okay.
volume too.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 second. All right, we good? This is where it begins, folks. Let me pull another fiver just in case I overstep.
See that.
All right, here we go.
What a mess. So I have with me a flat earther.
You sure about that? A lot of people are going to be questioning that very shortly.
A flat earther, right? His name is, my guess is David Weiss. And David is also known as Flat Earth Dave.
Not after this, it's not.
Flat Earth Dave. David is from the East Coast of the United States, where he was born and raised, and has some insight into the curious subject of our Earth. And he supposed to have proof.
He's supposed to have proof. Really? All right.
That the Earth is flat. Isn't that amazing? So this should be very interesting. David, welcome to the show.
Jesse, thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me?
I see you. I hear you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I just have a static image of you, but that's okay.
You
That's
have
how
a
it is.
static image? That's not okay.
I just have a like your camera's off for me.
Oh, they're working on it. Be patient. They're working on it, David.
But you can see me, right? I'm waving.
He white.
You're a moron.
Oh, I didn't realise. I thought it was all him. I assumed that, like me, he was pressing all the buttons, but he does actually have a production team by the sounds of things. Okay,
Yes.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, he has a guy in the back. He sometimes comes on camera.
Okay.
My next question, I don't know this. Like I said, I don't know this gentleman. Can I let this run a little bit before I stop it? You think?
I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk it. I would play 10, 15 seconds tops.
I'm going to go a little bit longer. I'll go ahead and I'll push it to the edge.
He's waving. He white. Thank you for coming on, David.
Jesse, I just thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here. I appreciate it. And I just want to say I've listened to interviews of yours here and there over many years, and every time I come across an interview, I'm like, "Wow, that's really amazing," in your words. And and I always liked it. And so recently, the last couple of weeks, I've been since we've been booked, I've been listening to more and more just to get a feel and prepare for the show. And you are singing my song every.
So, kissing butt. That's not a bad idea, right? I like your clock app up here, too, right? Another scam. So, that was my stoppage. Any comments?
Why'd you call his clock app a scam?
I think, well, the whole thing's a scam. If you're a scammer, then the whole thing, Mount Meru, everything falls under scam to me.
That's correct.
Oh,
And
there
I
he
have
is.
the right to say
I want to. No, I'm gonna have to step in now, but you'll step in.
Nathan, you can't
Neil.
step all over Neil. He's going to start roboting.
Head, Neil.
he's taking Adam's advice and stay on for a second so you get my full sentences. He's a scamming piece of crap.
Thanks, Neil.
Everything he does is a scam.
Okay, well,
Amen to that.
there's plenty of videographers that Dave gathers under his wing and promotes on his app. For a time, I was one of them. When Dave started telling people I don't watch Nathan Oakley, I immediately contacted him and told him to take my stuff off his app. That's not to say that there's plenty of people who put a lot of work in to videography specifically. I don't know about the other sections of the app. I'm not going to speak for that. But having had personal experience, I'm not going to just turn around and say, oh, the whole thing's a scam, when I know that there's people who put work in. The fact that Dave has gathered them up, put them in one place, and therefore, because it's Dave's app, it's part of the scam. I can't really stand by that.
All right, fair enough.
I think the app itself isn't necessarily why we would use the word scam. But it's useful in collecting people to the Sky Grift.
Yes. But fair enough. I'm not going to need this after this is over. In the next 25 minutes, this is going to fade into mediocrity. It's going to vaporize. Here we go.
The app, that you say.
1 second.
Go ahead.
Sorry. The app ties people, videographers, who he has connected to the app. He ties them to everything else he does. So they're like guilty by association, whether they have anything to do with the scam he's running or not. That's what he does with the app. Everyone's part of his scam because you're tied to him.
Good. Here we go.
From your silent prayer to everything, it's what I do. And I just love it. But I got a quick question for you before we start, since this is a special day for you. You believe that God is responsible for your creation, right?
Yes, all things.
So he accepts without evidence that God is behind the creation of everything. That's what he just said. People don't know what believe means. And this is another point that's going to come out, and he's going to contradict himself with. I'll let you know when it happens.
Okay. So do you believe that you are alive when you're in your mother's womb?
Do you
Oh, brother. I didn't listen to this part.
believe that
Neither
you're
did I.
alive when you...
I didn't.
I didn't know this was the preface to it, because I when I cut into it, I linked into it at the point that somebody shared it at the timestamp they'd shared, and I
Right.
assumed by the way it was phrased that was the start, right? So I didn't get any of this, but this is even more egregious, because this is the bit where he's had his introduction, right? And this is where you get your elevator pitches in basically, isn't it? If you've got more of them than one, then fine. But this is where you try and sneak in those opening remarks that cement your presence as a
Yes.
flat earther in the mind's eye of every single person watching. This is that moment. He's talking about whether or not you're alive as a fetus.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep, that's Deuce 7 offsuit. He's trying to get Jesse off his game. Because Dave said that he had watched Jesse. He knows his modus operandi, right? I don't think he knows specifically what's going to happen, but it shouldn't be a shocking surprise when Jesse comes out with the question. That's the way I'm taking it, but I don't know. This is really strange.
This is interesting because we
Go ahead.
started it at the point where Jesse was asking Dave, is he a Christian? And I thought it was an odd way to bring somebody on your show. So it's actually the reverse. Dave invokes God and checks whose his God is. And then Jesse's going to reverse it back. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Correct point, Nathan. What are you doing?
Yeah, I should have probably previewed this before I started playing it, but I didn't. I started it right at the beginning when he came in. I did it about 15 minutes before the show. So, here we go.
Mother's room. Yes.
Okay. So why aren't you celebrating your conception day, which would be about August 16th, instead of your birthday? Because you're denying 9 months of God's creation by celebrating today. That's all I want to say.
Because
I'll
when
I'll take that one step
was...
further. Why don't you celebrate when you were just an itch in your daddy's testicles?
Oh, brother, don't go there. This is going to be an infinite regress.
Yes, that's what I was doing. That's why I was starting. I'm glad you caught it. So at least I feel justified now in saying it. Absolutely infinite regress fallacy.
You could go many
And even if
directions.
you did that, even if we did that skillfully, that infinite regress, what would be the point of it?
Yeah.
Isn't one.
Yeah, is this proven flat out?
Here we go.
Growing up, we never celebrated in the womb. We're just so glad we made it through the womb.
Well, that is a day to celebrate that you got through, but that's the real day. You should celebrate the day that you were created. So that's August 16th, everybody. So don't forget, Jesse gets extra super chats and coffees on August 16th.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, David, let me ask, since I don't know a lot about you, are you a Christian?
I'm going to stop it right there just for copyright's sake. Any comments?
I was going to do some more humorous infinite regress jokes, but they were all too crude, so I'll just can all of them. It is quite rude, though. What he's done is quite filthy when you think about it. The way that he's put the mindset of his host right at the start of this interview, this back and forth, is quite crude when you think about what he's actually asked him.
How so?
What is conception?
What, you answered my question with a question?
Well, yeah. What you're saying, how is it rude? Well, just think about the time that shall I detail what happened for Jesse's parents at the point of conception? Shall I detail what was going on at the time? To do that, I mean, it might take away your advertising status. It's up to you. I can do that.
No, I don't want you to do it.
Let's just point out what.
No, you don't. But now that I've pointed it out, because Dave phrased it in a way that seemed harmless, but it isn't, is it? Now that I've pointed that out, is it?
Sure. Okay, fair enough. Go ahead, Adam. I'm sorry, Brian. Same person, both from North Africa.
Basically the same person. I'd agree. Yeah, basically the same.
Brian Adams. No, the first thing stands out to me, and I instantly feel it from this lad Jesse, right? That Dave is trying to butter up to him. It's like, we're all buddies, we're all pals. You know, make sure they let him know on his birthday, and you know, everyone out there super chatting and blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's not going to stop me from asking you hard questions, Dave. That's what's going on in Jesse's head. I know what's going. I don't know what's going on. I don't have to know what's going on in his head. I know that is the kind of person he is. Yeah, you think you can fool me? You think you can butter me up, you know, with a few compliments and that kind of nice guy stuff like you do with everyone else? No, you get asked hard questions here, that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen.
It reminds me. Adam said that he deals with whinging black people. Same thing happens when he's dealing with whinging black people, end quote, Adam. Which is to say that they appeal to him based on the fact that he is also black, and it doesn't fly at all. It just points out every flaw in their argument and not berates them, but sets them straight, regardless of their appeals for being the same race, which means nothing when he rips them a new one.
Well, it does. It's not that he deals with whinging black people. He just deals with whinging people and people with stupid ideas. He doesn't discriminate. It's like, you are an individual. He is an individual. You are saying things, and he's pointing out where these things you're saying are obviously and logically wrong. Doesn't care what you look like, where you're from. Yeah. Exactly,
but I use that example because it's so overt. Because the person he's talking to does absolutely try to appeal to it, and seek like a community from him, a community spirit, and their appeals are like, we are being oppressed, and he just doesn't have a bar of it. He's like, no.
yeah, he's not having any of that nonsense.
All right, we ready to go? I'll be more cautious with my next stoppage in the future for a 20-minute sidebar.
Sorry.
Here we go.
That's a very personal question, and I'm going to get into that. I'll tell you something. Before 2014, I denied all religion, all creator. I was a big believer in scientism or science, which is really science.
Well, what was your favorite color back then? Is it the same as it is now? And Christianity is not a religion there, guy.
And I denied everything, and it's because of the globe lie. And that's what pushed me there. And then after I discovered that we don't live on a spinning, wobbling, rocky ball surrounded by smooth water that no one's ever seen the curve, adjacent to air, adjacent to a void, which is scientifically impossible.
I love the look on Jesse's face. Nathan, you called it. I love this guy.
I understood that this place is intelligently designed, and therefore you have no other option but to accept that there's a creator. I believe it's Romans 1:19 that says
What? Stop. Did I miss something? Where was the evidence?
He didn't have
fair
it.
enough, you accept the creator, but because? Are we going to get that substantiated? Why? He just went from, I believe there's a creator, and based on that, you can't accept that there's any other position. You're like, where's the in-between bit?
It's not there. There's no substance. There's nothing there. I'm surprised Jesse didn't jump all over that.
it says, for what may be known about God is to clear to them since God has shown it to them. Basically, what the whole verse is saying is once you see my creation, you can no longer deny my existence. And this is what the wannabe controllers of this world want. They want you in a situation where you can deny God.
So let me ask you this. You said that you were.
Go ahead.
Who are they? Who are they? The creators of this, the rulers of this world. This is the hidden hand, right?
Yes.
Who the hell are they?
Don't know.
Christian, but you stopped being one when you found out that the earth was flat?
Well, no. I was a non-believer in anything. I believed in science. The science was my religion. And
he was a non-believer in everything, but he was a believer in science. You contradict yourself much.
More than one level.
I understand that.
Say again?
More than one level. So one thing that you wouldn't be a believer in is science, isn't it? Science has empiricism so that you don't have to ascribe any belief to it. So to suggest that I wasn't a believer in anything and then contradict yourself by saying I was a believer in science, like, well, that's unfortunate, Dave, given that I've tried to sit you down and explain what science is and you wouldn't have a bar of it. You wouldn't be in this position where I'm now criticizing the fact that science is empirical. The last thing you'd need to have a belief in is science. There we go. You've dropped it in incorrectly as a category error and a contradiction, both at once. Quite an achievement.
Yes, it is. You did it consciously, too. Look at him.
There is a creator. So, you
have never been a Christian.
Well, hold on. It's your definition of what a Christian is, and that could take 2 hours to talk about.
Why would it?
It wouldn't. It'd take me 10 seconds. Less than that, 3 seconds.
Yes.
But let's.
Yeah, I just want to.
Yeah.
That means he doesn't want to talk about that. In other words,
talking kind of fast right now. And I just want to. I'm black and slow, and so I just kind of want to understand. You're telling me that you have never been a Christian. You believed in science.
That at that time, yeah. I mean, I would classify myself as, if you want to define Christian, more of a Christian than many people, Bible thumpers that call themselves Christians.
Wow. That's a pretty outstanding claim there, Dave.
Did he not just justify his position with a Bible verse? Better than the Bible thumpers, here's this Bible verse.
Yeah. This is a train wreck of epic. We ain't even in the meat yet. This is just a preamble. Here we go.
And I haven't defined Christian. How do you define Christianity?
Oh well, now we're diving in. I would say somebody that believes in the Creator, that believes in Christ, that loves their neighbor and obeys God's law. That's the.
Huh? What? That's a train wreck. My God, sir. Any objections here?
But it's wrong.
Well, it's totally wrong. I mean, go on, Flatty.
I just said I object. He asked for objections. I got one.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to define a Christian, I'm not a Christian, right? But if I had to define a Christian, it would be someone who treats the Bible as the absolute word of God.
It's wrong.
Yeah, that's not it. I
Okay.
mean, that's a good point, but that's not a Christian. Anyone else?
I don't know how to define a Christian.
I don't know what the hell.
I think-
Just stay in
I
North
told a
Africa.
picture of you.
Just stay in North
Let's just
Africa,
define
all
it.
right? Just stay there.
Stop.
I,
Let's just
may
define
I
what
have a
Christian
crack?
is.
Let-
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
Let Adam
Yes,
have a
someone
crack.
else. I was going to put a point on it, but AJ wants to have a crack. So yes, I did it on my show. AJ can do it. Go ahead.
Somebody who believes and puts their faith in the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ.
That's it. You got it.
Boom.
Good job,
That's it.
AJ.
Right.
Boy, that was simple. Adam,
think
you
you're
want a
being
shot?
fair.
Adam, you want a shot at it after that because it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, well, none of you are listening.
Yes, I am.
Because Dave didn't. No, you're not listening to Dave. Dave, that may well be a perfect definition for a Christian, but Dave's not a Christian. He's better than a Christian, remember?
Oh, good point. He's better than a Christian, so what? That just opens up the whole topic. There's no affirmation. It could be anything. Good job, Adam. Thanks.
Foundation of Christianity.
Oh,
You're
okay.
welcome.
And do you believe?
Say again. Go ahead. I'll pull the fiver. I think Brian.
I said you're welcome when you said thanks to Adam.
Oh, okay. There we go. Here we go.
Obeys God's law. That's the foundation of Christianity.
Oh, okay. And do you believe that God created heaven and earth?
Yes.
You do believe that?
Yes.
And why should we believe you when you say that the earth is flat? Why?
Oh, he's ready to get into it. Here we go.
And that was a beautiful segue, wasn't it?
Well, it was. Here we go.
Why should we
Did
believe?
not believe me.
Why should
Belief
we
is the enemy. Belief is the enemy of knowing. Or
Now remember this. Remember that he said this. I'm stopping this for a reason. Belief is the enemy of knowing. He's going to go on a little bit more. Listen closely.
belief is the lazy man's knowing.
That's a train wreck. It's not a lazy man's knowing. Belief has nothing to do with knowing. It's the opposite of knowing. But mark this on your calendar. We're going to be coming back here. Okay?
Because everybody believes that I'm on the East Coast because you said it, because I told you that. You believe it, but you don't know it. So to know it takes time and effort.
So you're distinguishing belief pejoratively and knowing as the crown achievement. Remember that, folks.
And people are very lazy and they don't want to take the time to verify things. God says, verify all things.
And so you know for sure.
This is where it starts, folks. I'm going to go 5 seconds. This is the question. Everyone listening, listen to Jesse Lee Peterson. This is it.
The time to verify things. God says, verify all things.
And so you know for sure that the earth is flat. You know that without a doubt.
I know for without a doubt that we're not on a spinning rocky ball.
That's not what he said, and that wasn't the question that he asked, Dave. That is a red herring fallacy diversion. And he's going to hold your feet.
Going.
Say again?
That's 2. We need a counter. Can we nominate someone to keep track of the number of times he gets asked, just for the audience's benefit? We already know, obviously, but
I nominate Nathan.
okay, that's 2 so far. That's the same question twice so far.
Okay.
Applying to an infinite, godless, or distant God, expanding universe, because when you look at the details of it, it's absolute insanity. But when you, when you look at all the measurements of Earth,
I'm going to stop it right here. Look at Jesse's face, because he realizes he's not answering his question. So guess what Jesse's going to do? He'll give you 3 guesses. The first 2 don't count. Here we go.
everything measured.
Say again, Adam.
The last sentence he's just said he could follow on and actually give it, but he just, you look at all the measurements.
Yep.
It's in there.
Just no cowbell. Here we go.
Is flat. When you measure the Earth, we can see farther than they say we could.
When you measure the Earth, we can see further. That's non sequitur. That doesn't follow. And Jesse's all over this.
It's patently false, isn't it?
Yes.
Just because I measure something doesn't mean I can see a bit further now. Why? Because I just measured something.
Yeah, it's stupid. That's why I said it's non sequitur.
I'll interject here because if this is one of my bugbears at the moment. and has been for quite some time, I won't lie. When you say we see too far, there's an automatic assumption of a sphere that you are doing on behalf of your opponent. So, by saying we see too far, you're implicating that Earth should have physical obstruction to your view. Given the subject matter, we all know what that physical obstruction to your view, quote unquote, should be. So, what is it? What should be obscuring our view to state that we see, quote, too far? Well, it's Earth curve that should be in the way. Obviously, we should have an Earth curve edge obstruction. And we're not seeing it. We're seeing too far. No, we're not seeing too far. And if you'll take my indulgence, I'll give my example with two gentlemen standing at the side of a bay, looking across it at a clock in the town across the bay. And as they look at the clock, one, a flat earther, the other, a sphere earther, have a little conversation about what they see. Flat earther states, "There's a clock." The glober replies, "No. How foolish. That's not a clock. We see too far. That's actually a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of a clock from behind the physical geometric sphere edge horizon. Therefore, it's not a clock, it's a mirage. We see too far," says the glober. Response from flat earther, "I just see a clock." Now, what am I pointing this out for? Well, it's because Dave has now taken ownership of a claim that he's trying to decry by suggesting that that is the default position, and when that default position isn't adhered to, it's a problem. It's too far. It's not too anything. Seeing stuff. Why are we taking on the burden of our opponent's argument to suggest how their argument that fails, fails? Leave them to make their argument that fails. In the meantime, we have no reason or rhyme to point out anything about what we see in the distance. It's not a claim we make. We don't use it as flat earthers. It's not part of our positive assertion. It's a rebuttal. Now, that was fine for 10 years, right up until the point that I said it wasn't. Then it's not fine. Let's get that clear.
Yes, sir.
Could see, on a curved surface, there should be a limit to our vision, but we can see way, way, way beyond that. And then all of the measurements for the heliocentric model, which is the globe.
Really, the heliocentric model, where's that at? You gotta model it right up here and show us? Nope.
Model, I call it the heliosinister trick, are assumed measurements. None of them.
Assumed measurements? What the heck is that? I've never
Stockholm
heard
syndrome.
I've never heard those two words connected. Non sequitur.
Appealing to his captor. It's like escaping a cult and then dedicating your life to talking about the cult's operations. Now, don't get me wrong, I expect some smart ass in the comments to say, "No, if you're exposing the cult, you need to talk about the cult." Like, no, not you. What you should be encouraging others to do is step away from the cult if they're part of it. If they're already in the cult, why spend your entire time talking to them about the cult they're already in? That's what this guy's doing. This is what Dave Weiss is doing.
Yep.
Explaining again and again and again and again how the cult works.
Well, what I would have to say is this, right? He's not answering the question he was asked, right? But if he was speaking to Jesse or whoever right, about the topic, I have no issue with him bringing up the globe, because we can't deny that there's a widespread belief in a globe, right? And it's pushed upon people, right, more or less. But it's the way you do it. If I'm going to bring up the globe, I'm going to address the mathematics of the globe and then say, do these mathematics fit with reality? No, right? If I'm going to be talking about it at all, I'm going to point out to the person that the mathematics that they give us for the claim sphere we're on do not match reality. That means they are incorrect. End of story. That's the start of it, if I'm going to bring it up at all.
Right.
But I'm not going to say I see too far. I won't say that. So
Yeah.
I won't critique him for bringing up the globe, but I will. But he hasn't answered the question. It's not what he was asked. He wasn't asked whether it's a globe. He was asked, do you know for definite if it's flat?
Well,
And he hasn't answered that.
it's not lost on Jesse. Here we go.
Them have been proven. In school, we were taught Earth is a globe, this is that, and this is the way it is. But even to this very day, the best physicists in the world say they can't prove whether it's a globe.
Why would a physicist be involved in this? This is not a physics topic. It's a geometric one. So you're in another category here.
That we're spinning or everything is spinning.
Well, what about spin? Jesse didn't ask you about any spinning. He asked you if you knew for sure, without a doubt, that the Earth is flat, Dave. Do we need to get the Adderall drip out? Well, the Adderall drip in this case, as a metaphor, is Jesse.
Above us. They can't prove it either way, but they teach us one as a fact and the other one is, they don't even mention the other one as a possibility. But to this very day, the best physicists in the world. You had Mark Sargent.
Here we go again. He just can't stop. This isn't a physics topic, Dave. You'd figure after 10 years, you've been out here longer than that. It's probably more than 10 years for you. You'd figure you'd already know that as one of the quote, I ain't going to say quote unquote, self-purported flat earth representatives. You figured you'd know that. This is just simple, fundamental ABC type of deal here, Dave.
I've got some chat.
Go ahead.
Out to Chow Yun Cat for supporting Divergent Droid's Give Sango campaign. Thank you very much indeed. $70, really appreciate it. And Riffraff also, who's contributed in the last half an hour and 15 minutes. So both of you, thank you very much, Riffraff, for the $40 for supporting that campaign. The link to that campaign has just gone by. I've just stuck it in the live stream chat if you do want to support our very outstanding moderation team, because he's a team in and of himself, and that's Divergent Droid. So link to his campaign's going by in the live stream chat.
5 years ago, they had a physicist on, and that physicist.
Here we go with the physicist again. He just can't give up on this. So every time you say it, it's another indictment. This is not a physics topic, Dave. My God.
Said the same thing I'm saying right now. That you.
Go ahead.
He's kind of appealing to authority because he's bringing up a physicist and he's going to bring up a story concerning Mark Sargent, which is kind of an appeal to authority. It's like this authority figure wasn't able to deal with us and our arguments, or Mark Sargent's arguments. That's kind of the way he's going. In a way, it's a bit fallacious.
No, it's not a bit.
Around. Hold on. No. Actually, Mark Sargent, as an appeal, if you were talking about flat Earth, would actually be a correct appeal. He's an expert in that subject matter. His appeal to physicists in this specific endeavour by Dave is the appeal to authority. Because are physicists the authority on aspects and shapes?
Nope.
No, they're not. But Dave is trying to appeal to them.
Yeah, that's the appeal to authority fallacy.
That's
an appeal to authority fallacy. Is Mama said that the alligator's angry because he's got all those teeth and no toothbrush. Well, she's no expert in alligators. The guy at the front of the lecture talking about the medulla oblongata is an expert. So when you start talking about why alligators are aggressive, because you were taught by an expert in his field that the medulla oblongata controls their aggression levels, that's not an appeal to authority. Mama, and saying they've got all those teeth and no toothbrush, that's an appeal to authority. In this case, physicists have got nothing to do with this subject, therefore an appeal to authority.
Yes, correct.
I don't know what it is you're saying I'm wrong about.
No, he's not. He's not.
No.
He's saying you're right. It's not a bit of an appeal to authority fallacy. It is. Exactly.
It's Irish. He feels persecuted. It's got to be something. Go on, Brian. Whinge.
Now, you're right on point, Brian. Here we go.
You can't, that they can't tell whether we're moving or not.
And do you know for sure that the Earth is flat?
I love this guy because you know why he did that? David. I love this guy. Here we go.
Wait, hold on. There's a nuance I'm missing. You said, "Do you know why you did that?" What do you mean? In what context? What am I missing?
Do you know why do you know why Jesse stated that? And the reason why he stated the question again is because Dave didn't answer his question.
Right. It's 3.
Yep, this is 3. You're right. Let's go back. I want to hear that again.
And do you know for sure that the Earth is flat?
Look, I love the look on his face when he says this. All right, keep his face up there.
Well, what is the definition of flat? Flat is
No. That's not the answer to his question. And you're the flat earther. Why are you asking him what the definition of flat is, Dave? Don't you know?
You know what I mean, John? What is an immigrant? You know what I mean? Let's first of all define what an immigrant is before we worry about them.
Flat is not a shape. Flat is a description of level, horizontal. We live on a non-rotating, level, topographical, horizontal plane. And, you know, we have hills and valleys and everything.
Did he say horizontal plane?
Maybe, but all of those, at face value, they are baseless assertions. As much as we're on his side in this regard, right? Those are our bullet points, the headings for the paragraphs that follow. There's no substantiation to this, so they are, in effect, baseless assertions, aren't they?
Yes. Right now they are. Look at Jesse. He's putting that question back in the breach again, Dave, if you're unawares.
I like that. Putting the question back in the breach. It's he's got this double-barreled shotgun, and every time he's putting 2 shells back in and cranking it.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Is level, and we know this for a fact. Now, in the flat Earth community, we're trying to figure this place out. Flat Earthers are willing to say, we don't know.
What do you mean we don't know?
Pause it a second. He just contradicted himself.
Yes, he did.
In a way, because he said, we know it's level, and we know this for an absolute fact. Then he gave no evidence to support how we know that, because we do know it. And then he went on to say we don't know we don't know anything about it.
Exactly. You got him. Yep, that's the next one.
It's contradictory.
Yep. There you go.
Or hey, that works on both flat and globe. And
false dichotomy. Fallacy.
Call him neutral. Why not just label yourself neutral outcome, Dave?
This is important, this bit, because what works? Because there are a lot of things that we've demonstrated, and shout out to Refracted John, that pull things back, that Dave's now mitigating for to say they work on a globe. No, they don't. What works on a globe, Dave? That flat Earth measurement that you then transpose to a globe model. Yeah, that's what's working. But the measurement from reality is still a flat Earth measurement. And this is the point he's giving up here. Something that we should be striving forward with. But he's giving it away and saying, well, yes, some things work on both a flat and a globe.
Yeah.
Again, with no example.
Yep.
We've covered this for 2 years. Right. We've had it as a housekeeping question. Is there any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline? That is the actual measurements of Earth in terms of how it's dealt with. When you say things work on a sphere, that's the housekeeping question that should have been paid attention to. Be able to overcome your own brain when you have a flat Earth belief that tells you it could work on both. This is the most telling part for me so far. I didn't necessarily catch this the first time around. When Dave says it could work on both, he, in the back of his mind, is pondering the idea that it could still work on a globe. That is to say, Dave doesn't know. There is absolutely no way any of us in this room now, I can speak for all of you, I know I won't get interrupted for this particular statement, would ever state that it, quote, could work on a ball. When you say it could work on either, you're effectively saying it could work on a ball. It can't work, nothing can work on a ball that we do in reality. One, because we're not on a ball, and that is not how it is measured. So I know I couldn't bring myself to utter those words. I couldn't do it. Because I know instinctually, balls to bones, that nothing's going to work on a ball that's imagined, because Earth isn't that ball. So it would be difficult for me to even say those words. But what it tells me is Dave doesn't know it's flat. He doesn't know what we know.
Yep. Yes, sir. Oh, it's going to get worse.
What you'll find out in this conversation, things will fall into three pots.
That you're a pretender clown. Yeah, a dumb, stupid, and idiot pot. Those are the pots. That's all right. Jesse's going to tighten your shot group here in a second.
Works on a flat Earth, works on a globe Earth, and works on both.
How you like those three choices? False trichotomy.
Give me the examples of it works on a ball.
Yeah.
What is he on about?
What we? Sorry, Adam, you go ahead.
It's very frustrating. I want to pull it back to the point again. He's not citing anything, which is frustrating. In doing so, giving them positions that they've not even earned. Why would you say you've got these presuppositions that work on a ball and only on a ball? But that's the false trichotomy he's presented and on their behalf said there's evidence for. It's just beyond generous.
Or my rhetoric, which everyone's got behind, which is lovely, is to say that on the front foot, you should state that Earth is measured flat. Now, in rebuttal, that is to say, you put a full stop, you wait, a response, and if, only if, that response is globe-centric, that is to say, the response is, well, what about how this works? When and only when that happens, you take their example and show them where their example validates your original statement that Earth is measured flat for their globe-centric rebuttal. That is to say, you start proactively pointing out how Earth is measured flat, and whenever a globe Earth claim is made, you show them how Earth is measured flat with their claim. Not suggest that it could work on the sphere, show them how it only works because we measure Earth flat to get to their globe claim. Now, there's no exceptions. There's no, oh, well, what about this example that does actually only work on a globe? There aren't any. All of the examples that Dave thinks, or let's put it more succinctly, believes work on a globe, require flat Earth measurements to convert to a globe to suggest that it will sort of work with angles that can't be measured. In other words, doesn't work. You need that conversion process first. Now, the believers in a globe who use those processes have been telling us and Dave for the last 10 years how they use it flat and apologising for why it isn't being measured sphere-shaped. For example, oh yes, of course we measure it flat, that's Earth. That's because it's so big. That is effectively our opponents on the globe side telling us that they measure it flat. Because they do. Where's the working on a globe bit? There isn't one. There's only working on a flat Earth. And that's precisely what everybody does. I see this as the most important detail, which is why I'm getting so het up. Because Dave's saying, it could work on a ball, it fits into 3 categories. Working on a flat Earth, no, that's everything. Working on a ball, no, that's nothing. It's conversion from the flat Earth measurements to give you an idea that it might work on a spherical surface that won't give you the measurements you had to take from a flat Earth. And works on both. No, there's no working on both. There's only working on a flat Earth and converting with calculations, not measurements, to a spherical surface that won't work with the original measurements. That's all there is. A belief in a globe that came from the flat Earth measurements and the flat Earth measurements. That's it.
Well, let me just point something else to you here, Nathan. Something I don't know if you're aware of, because you may not have heard it, what he has to say about what point he's actually making. Because the way he goes about things, it becomes so annoying that you'll actually miss what he's trying to say. What he's going to say is that there is 3 categories: flat, globe, or flat and globe. And he's going to say everything will go into 2 of those categories. You'll either work on flat or work on flat and globe, but nothing will only work on globe. What he doesn't realize is what he's actually stating is you can make a lot of these things work mathematically on a globe once you start with a flat plane. If he just paid attention to what we are saying for years, he would be relaying this information correctly. And you'd be using you're literally using the same thing, but you're relaying it in a different, more correct way. All this globe, all these things they say that work on a globe, they all start with a flat plane. That's why everything works on flat, and certain things work on flat and globe, but not works on globe because we're not on one of those. So what he's actually saying is similar to what we're saying, except for he's going about it in the wrong way.
There we go.
And you'll find that things go into both end bowls, but the middle bowl, the globe, nothing goes in there by itself. Nothing. So you have to keep looking at the evidence and, you know.
Keep looking at the evidence. It sounds like you don't know that the earth is flat, Dave. I don't need to keep looking at the evidence. I already have it. I've had it for years. My word. That's all right. Jesse's going to bring you back.
Here's the thing. We can, since we have 5 hours to do this show, we're barely going to be able to cover all of the information. So what I tell people is, do not believe anything I say. Go verify it yourself, but Google will not hand you anything. If you
Google's not a source, it's a medium.
Google flat earth, Google my name, Google anything, you're going to get propaganda. You're going to get nonsense, right?
That's great. You're not answering his question. Did you forget the question, Dave? That's all right. Jesse's going to let you know what it is here in a couple seconds.
On my website, flatearthdave.com,
oh, boy.
there's a button called the Crash Course, and there's a list of videos in there that are being hidden from you.
You know what it's like? You know when we hear from the ballers that there's thousands and thousands and millions and billions of proofs of blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
That's what he's telling Jesse Lee Peterson here. Oh, there's no end of proofs, but we only have 5 hours. 5 hours? Or whatever amount of time. Half an hour is enough. You just have to go through one thing. He's not gone through one thing that proves that the earth is a flat plane. He could just stick to one thing, and he won't do that. Because he's the same thing. There's billions and millions and thousands. It's like, well, give us one.
There are mountains and mountains of evidence. That's the old Evo-Tard trick. But that wasn't the question, Brian. That question is the next. That question is the next logical follow-on question to Jesse's question. Because hold on, because it's a closed-ended question. It requires just one word: yes or no. Follow? Go ahead, Nathan.
So that means the numpty would have a 50-50 chance of guessing it right.
He could just guess and he'd have half a chance of getting over this little problem, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Yes, good point.
I think that was Matrix.
Thanks, Matrix. All right, here we go.
I was going to suggest.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not. Hold on, bloody hell. Right, I won't do this now because we've now dragged it out for too bloody long. I was going to suggest we could every one of us here, deliver a 30-second to 60-second elevator pitch. That is to say, you go, I'll give you an example. Did you know Earth's measured flat? Yeah, all of the measurements that we utilize on the surface of the Earth for reference to anything are flat, like sea level. End statement, pitch over, doors open, man walks out going, what the hell? What just happened to me? Yeah, that's an elevator pitch. Right, what I said Dave should have given in the first 15 seconds of him being introduced to this audience. Well, we could all do that. I'm not suggesting we should all give a nice polished, that wasn't that polished, but you know what I mean, a half-decent attempt at an elevator pitch. But given that he's going on a show, and given that that's what we suggest would be the most appropriate thing to deliver, his counter in this instance is to say, oh, there's so much, like you say, old Evo-Tard adage. Well, no, you don't need 5 hours. You need to be able to give it him like that, with impact.
Yes, sir.
Watch those videos with a skeptical mind. Do not believe anything. Verify everything. And I'm so confident, for those of you who know that what Bitcoin is, I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. But you have to.
Really? Is that what you do? I thought Nathan was your man for your little Bitcoin challenge. Wonder who that is now.
Yes, Witsit now.
Witsit. He can barely tie his shoes without a fleet of slobberners. How's he going to defend it? What? He
definitely defend it from a baller.
He'll double speak it? It's a double speaking Bitcoin, Lion Surat? He'll shapeshift it. It'll be Coinbit.
To watch those videos first.
And so do you know?
Now bring us back home, Jesse.
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
Get the look. You gotta love this guy, right? You gotta love him. I love him. Hey,
yeah. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. You know, that's what he's doing every time, isn't it?
Yeah. Nathan, there's your tech guy you brought him up on screen. Just FYI.
I know for sure and without a doubt that it's not a globe as they describe.
He said he's not answering the question. Look at his face. His jaw's starting to drop. I love you, Jesse.
Did you hear what Dave just said?
Mr. President, will you stop
Brian, go ahead, Brian.
crossing the border?
Adam, just one sec. I think Brian might have picked up on something that I just picked up on. Go ahead, Brian. What were you about to say?
He said, it's not a globe as they described. That's what Dave said.
Right. Who's they again? That's what I picked up on. I'm like, it suddenly dawned on me that this conspiratard view that there's the hidden hand is also a similar view to we need to appeal to NASA to tell us what the sky really is. Like this mentality that once you've been deceived by some psychopath, you need to go knocking on their door going, well, can you now tell me the truth? As opposed to turn your back on them and never talk to them again. Because they're liars. Well, this is Dave's mindset, isn't it?
Yep.
They've lied to us. Who are they? Why are you appealing to this ethereal entity that's deceived you? It's like you've opened your eyes. Maybe some introspection is what you really need.
Well, what wasn't actually my point. My point was when he said it's not a globe like Dave described. Is it a globe like they didn't describe then? I mean, it's just not a globe, Dave. That's my point. You have a valid point, Nathan. I'm not saying you don't, and I know Adam has something to say. But my point was, no, it's just not a globe. What do you mean it's not a globe like they described? Is it similar then? What are you talking about? Sorry.
Doesn't matter anyway.
It's not a globe.
Doesn't matter anyway.
Exactly why I say it's not. Why I say it's not a globe. Like being asked if it's flat, and he knows whether or not he knows that for a fact, and telling someone, well, we're not going to be doing something else, or we're not going to be believing in something else. It's just not a response. But the response puts that view in the audience's mindset, not a globe. It's like telling somebody, a small child, not to do something. If they haven't already had the idea, if they're sitting around playing quite happily, and you go to them and go, by the way, don't put these forks into those electrical outlets. Don't do that. They look at you and go, I'd never thought of that. The idea had never crossed my mind. Maybe I'll do that. Well, that's because they're stupid. Kids are stupid. But you know what I'm getting at? When you put that idea that they weren't necessarily thinking about in their mind, when you tell them it isn't it, they're suddenly thinking about that thing that it isn't. It's perpetually putting the seed of globe in the mind of the person who's listening to him.
Adam, you wanted to add something? Go.
Oh, no, let's go. Carry on.
This is this is like somebody asking Dave, is the color, do you know for sure without any doubt that the color of that flower is yellow? Dave responds, well, I know it's not black. You get it, folks? He's not answering the question.
No, they lied about it being red. We are certain they said it was red.
That's why you got the look from Jesse. Here, I'll make it bigger. See it? Trenton all over his face.
That's the look I paused. Yeah, that's that look of, I haven't answered my question, Dubbo.
Yes, he's getting ready to put it in the breach again. Just depends on how long Dave is going to divert away. Here we go.
And do you know for sure?
Oh, it didn't take too long. Let me go back. He didn't even finish.
And without a doubt that it's not a globe as they describe.
And do you know for sure and without a doubt that it's flat?
Well,
it's 5 then.
How many times now, Nathan? You still counting?
It's 5.
All right. Here we go. Well, let's go back a little bit. Here's full answer.
And do
again.
you know for sure and without a doubt that it's flat?
Well, what is your definition of flat?
Didn't he do this same thing before? That's the second time he's pulled this little maneuver. You think you're getting away with something
miscounted.
here?
I've miscounted, then that is still the 5th time.
Jesus. Oh, boy. Well, Jesse's loading the breech again.
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the earth is flat?
Why are you laughing?
A 6.
Why are you laughing, Dave? He's asking you a very simple, poignant question. He keeps asking you that same question, Dave. I know. I'm just spitballing here. Probably because you're not answering the question. Who knows?
Well, it's not flat because there's hills and valleys. So that's.
Oh, no, it's not flat. So you should be not flat Earth, Dave. Because you're a bevtard now. My God,
Deal
sir.
with that argument. Hold on. Let's deal with that argument. How not flat Earth is described with respect to Earth being a flat plane of reference. That is to say, if I suggest to you that an imaginary mountain is 500 feet tall, what is 500 feet tall? Well, it's an elevation. What's an elevation? A description from the 0 point for the entirety of Earth, with everything being described how high or low it is with that respect to 0. So, as an overall topology, we can use Earth as a horizontal plane of reference. Now, what we have arbitrarily ascribed to that for a measurement purpose, sea level. We use sea level to describe how high or low things are. It's a flat Earth proof. When you say Earth's not flat, and we can describe how not flat it is with Earth as a horizontal plane of reference. That's how we describe how not flat Earth is, by using it as a flat Earth to describe it from as a 0 point. So this is an absurd position. It is Bev Earth position. It's sad. Again, we've dealt with this for about 18 months, 2 years now, for whatever reason. Maybe longer. It's probably 3 years.
Well, he just said the
Yeah.
Earth's not flat. So he needs to change his name to not flat Earth, Dave.
Earth is flat.
Well, it's not flat because there's.
There you
That's
go.
7. Sorry, was that number 7?
No, it wasn't. I hit a 5er, so take one back.
Okay, 6.
There's hills and valleys, so that's not flat.
But
It's
you're a
level.
flat earther.
But you're a
You
flat
support it.
Earther.
Right, the Earth's not flat. We've got hills and valleys, but you're a flat earther. Yeah, exactly, Jesse. Exactly.
This is what happens when people listen to people who are gaslighting people like Bev. Bev is just gaslighting people. And people, David Weiss obviously picked up on this somewhere. And he thinks that Jesse's going to have some gotcha on him if he just says it's flat. Jesse's going to go, there's hills and mountains. No, Jesse just went, but you're a flat earther. It's like, why are you telling me it's not flat? You know, he's not going to go, but there's mountains. Jesse Lee Peterson's not going to do that. You know what I mean? Because he knows that's a nothing topic, a nothing point. You know, he understands what flat is. You know, as it's just describing a surface. But Dave is trying to be tricky, and it's looking bad for him. Jesse Lee Peterson is going, but you're a flat earther.
He's responding to chaff. This is chaff.
Yeah.
The not flat thing is chaff. It's subterfuge, if that's the correct word. It's stuff designed for us to chase down rabbit holes after and waste a load of time. But once you've chased down that rabbit hole, don't then grab hold of the stupid rabbit that you've been chasing and then hold it up for the world to see and go, look how I can overcome this stupid rabbit I've been chasing after for the last 6 months. You know, the whole using things like, well, it's not flat. That's what Bev will watch this, right? But he's loving this, the fact that he's getting more than one mention. And he will be absolutely laughing his head off. The fact that Dave's basically fell for the dupe. Swindle's worked, and when he's on a reasonably popular show talking about his bread and butter, flat earth Dave, he's openly declared that it's not flat. Why? Well, because he's fell for it, hook, line and sinker. Chased the chaff, and the chaff has worked its magic beautifully. Wonderful chaff. You know, it's like, my God. Who was it? Tiger Dan used to say, chew the meat and spit out the bones. No, Dave's spitting pellets of bone at people. That's what he's doing.
Well, it's not flat because there's hills and valleys, so that's not flat.
But
it's
you're
level.
a flat earther.
It's level. It's horizontal.
But
how would you describe a pond?
What? Not flat, it's level. These two words are synonymous. What's he babbling about?
I can't.
Yeah, he's contradicting. Sorry, go on.
I'm sorry, I can't get by Jesse. But you're a flat earther. I can't get.
We should trim that. That should be a short. We shouldn't do it to our own. But what the hell? The guy's a scumbag to me. So why? Why? Who cares? So why would you say I should believe in the Earth being flat, Dave? Well, the Earth's not flat. We've got hills and valleys. But you're a flat earther. End clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at Jesse because to me, he's hilarious and brilliant, right? But to be serious now, you ask yourself, why hasn't flat Earth progressed? I'm going to tell you why, right? Because of these knuckle draggers. This is why. Now we're just dealing with Tim. We dealt with these two. They're going on these programs, their own personal Netflixes, with their behind the curve train wreck, and they're train wrecking the flat Earth with their Tootsie Roll dicks. This is what's happening. And you're allowing it. I mean, how many times we got to show this? Question you got to ask yourself or answer yourself. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, I thought you were finished when you said, how many times have we got to allow this? What I was going to come in with and say is, what they're going to say is, why are you attacking our own? That's what they're going to say.
Because they're not our own. Because they're not our own. Dave already admitted he's not a flat earther. They're not our own. I already knew that. Same thing with Boy Zero, Sky Grifter, Shitsit. Same thing with him. Same thing with Hanoi. They're not flat earthers. Hanoi Jaren, he's not a flat earther. We all knew this how many years ago? Now it's
we all just got irate at Brian, and they can attack us for what? Flat Earth Dave just saying on the JLP show that it's not flat. What he just said. That's why people are a bit tasty, isn't it? Because Flat Earth Dave's just said it's not flat. There's hills and valleys.
I was going to say that. I was like, it's pretty alarming when somebody goes by the name Flat Earth Dave and then out of their mouth they say it's not flat.
Yeah.
And also he's just going like he's persevering to not answer any question directly put to him. I mean I wouldn't trust somebody that couldn't answer a direct question, you know?
Yeah. It's a direct, simple question that he keeps on asking that he's not answering. If that isn't do 7 offsuit, folks, I don't know what is.
What he's doing is earlier on when he was asked about flat, he said, no, we know for definite it's level. Right? Then when he was asked about flat this time, after several times of not answering the question, skirting around it, he's saying, well, you know, flat's a description. You know, we have hills and valleys, mountains. Like, then what are you bringing up level for? What part is level? He's not giving any detail to anything. This is his problem. No matter what he's been doing, every time he's on any show or podcast, it's the same thing. It's a lot of stuff and no detail to go with it.
No, they're all contradictions. It's not only no answers; he's contradicting himself.
I know it's contradictory. He's contradicting it. I know because he's saying it's not flat on hills and valleys, but we know for definite that it's level. That means no point higher or lower than the other. Now you can bring up both of those topics, but you have to be able to define them separately, and then amalgamate them. You can't just contradict yourself every 4 minutes. I don't
4 minutes? Not for every 4 minutes, every 30 seconds.
Even his name is a fraud.
Yep. There you go. There you go. I mean, this is what we got, flat earthers out there. He is one of your representatives. He's taking it to the world for you. Like Globe Dumpsters Bob did with Behind the Curve. like Shitsit's been doing, like Gerane's been doing. This is your representative, flat earthers. Are you proud? That's why it's not going anywhere, and people are laughing at it. Now, there's an undercurrent that, you know, the ones that can fog a mirror are getting it, right? I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the general public, the NPCs. This is what you're getting. This is your representative. Good luck.
Just before you do, can I just do one quick shout out
Yes.
to Divergent Droid's Give Sango campaign, which is the link going to be going by any second now in the live stream chat. So please click on that link if you'd like to support woes and endeavours that are being experienced by our top moderator, Divergent Droid, who's been doing a top bang-up job throughout the whole show, promoting various people from the chat as they put cogent points down. You can see him whizzing on by. Everybody loves him. Please support his campaign. He's a very humble guy. So I'm sure he won't be plugging his own campaign in the chat, which I definitely would be, but he isn't. So every now and again, I want to say something in the show just to point out that I am putting the link periodically down there. Please click on it and read the campaign. Share it if you don't want to necessarily support him financially, which is understandable. Leave some nice comments. There's a prayer button in the Give Sanko campaign. Again, if you don't necessarily want to support him financially, the shares do make a difference. But if you did want to support him financially, make sure you set the tip amount to 0. So you have to go in and say how much tip, and then set the amount to 0 specifically. Otherwise, they take an extra cut. So they do take a cut anyway. But please support that campaign. The link's going by right now in the chat. Thank you for bearing with me, Kiwi.
I'd just like to say something on that. Just a small thing, Nathan. It's not that whether they want to support Droid or not. Someone may not be able to support Droid. So if all you can do is leave a prayer and you want to leave a prayer, then do. As opposed to whether you want or don't want to support Droid, because you might want to, but you can't.
Here we go. If my mouse would work. Oh boy. My mouse is not working. Oh, battery's dead. Hey, continue on with the Droid campaign for a couple minutes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll do shout outs for the people who've already supported it because that means I get to shout me out, which everybody loves. There's an anonymous giver who gave $500 straight off the bat when the campaign opened. Now, I actually know who that anonymous giver is because I asked. But thank you very much. You know who you are, and I know who you are, and you're very, very generous, and we all love you. And if I did mention who you were, everybody would love you more, but you're too... what's the word when someone is private about being generous? There's a word for that. Can anyone help me out with that word? Maybe they'll help me out before we get to the end of the shout out. What's the word?
Modest.
Modest, yeah, modest. Absolutely. Yes, the person who just dumped $500 straight on his campaign is definitely modest and lovable and all the great things that person knows they are. And I know they are. Anyway, enough said about that anonymous contributor. They left some nice words, which you can do as Brian just pointed out. Oh, there's a super chat for QE. Go ahead.
He said it loud this time. QE would have been able to hear it. Tony Whitcomb, he sent, it's like a permanent salt and pepper pot on the table and saying the table underneath isn't flat. Yep.
Perfect. Tony. I'm really, really proud of all the people who've already immediately helped out DD because this is literally a back-to-back give, send, go off the back of QEs. So it tends to be, I was very nervous when when suggesting this was something we would do because we've just done one. But sure enough, people pull out all the stops when it's someone like Divergent Droid. Not to suggest that we wouldn't do it for Brian, but let's be honest, we wouldn't. Anyway.
I'm back.
I'll just finish shouting out everybody because I didn't do it. Shout out to the absolutely beautiful and handsome Nathan Oakley for supporting the campaign. He says he is ace. He is. That's right. Jerry Mercial, thank you very much for supporting the campaign. Chow Yun Cat, thank you very much indeed. And Riff Raff, thank you very much indeed.
We good?
Yeah.
Here we go. I charged it up.
Is it flat?
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
Why are you still laughing, clown? Right? You're forcing him to keep asking you the same question. How many are we up to now, Nathan?
Was that one more?
Yep.
That's 7.
If
Well,
you ask
all of our
Cackles Kamala, is the southern border secure? Well, how does she respond?
I've actually
Embarrassing
got a comment
is
on what.
very telling. You know, this is not a difficult question. Nobody's saying, "Have you got Jews under your stairs?" Yeah, this is a simple question that you should be able to answer positively and boldly. Like you say, Nathan, the elevator pitch. I'd like a go at that next time. Jesse asks it, I'll have a go at the elevator pitch.
Okay. One more thing I wanted to add, which is this. I won't say the thing I said about it on my show because we want to keep it family orientated. This laugh, as Adam said, is a tell. We hear this on Flat Earth debate quite frequently. You know when we hear it? When we have our opponent absolutely up against the wall after they've been dragged around for quite a significant time by their short hairs. This is the laugh that we get.
Doubt that the Earth is flat.
Well, all of our observations show a flat level Earth, 100.
All of our observations. So it looks flat. That's where we're at in 2024, Dave. Really. It looks flat. That's it. That's all you got. Unbelievable. And still not answering the question.
27,000 feet. Earth isn't spinning out from underneath here. It looks flat.
And do you know for sure and without a doubt?
Yeah, he's still asking the same question, Dave, because you're not answering his question. You're just sitting back there laughing like a moron.
That the Earth is flat.
Are you going to keep asking me until I...
Yeah, until you answer the question, yes. Yes, he is going to do that. Yes. Yes. Sure he is.
Answer?
That's an interesting response as well, isn't it? That's a defense mechanism response, demonstrating how uncomfortable the question is.
Yes, sir.
As it should be, as it would be for somebody who doesn't know.
Correct.
This isn't in any way a difficult question for any of us. We would welcome this question, number one, so we can correct Jesse on his misapprehension about it being belief-based, but also to make a bold statement that Earth is measured flat.
I know for sure that the Earth is not rotating.
See his face there, Kiri. Give me a J.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, we got to pull a J on this one. Here we go. Don't mark this one down, Nathan.
Are you going to keep asking me until I answer?
The power of silence.
You guys have got to love that face.
Yeah.
It's the silence. It's not just the face. It's the fact that he doesn't say anything. Sometimes not saying anything is far more powerful than saying something. You're going to keep asking until I answer? Does that
Agreed.
need a response? It doesn't need a response, does
Correct.
it? So it gets a look.
Classic. Thank you, Jesse.
I know for sure that the Earth is not rotating. I know for sure.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Did he ask you if you knew for sure that the Earth is not rotating, Dave? You're not answering his question. He's putting another round in that breach. Go ahead.
Back to inserting ideas in the mind's eye of the person listening. Yeah, you know, and I gave my example with the kids not sticking a fork in the outlet. You do know that if you drink the bleach under the sink, you'll get very sick. You do know that, don't you? I hadn't given it the kids looking at you going, drinking bleach. Hadn't thought of that. You know what I mean? Now he's talking about spinning balls. Nobody had got any apprehensions about balls spinning until Dave mentioned it. This is what I mean by, this is the counter when I suggest that people should move forward on the front foot. This is exactly what I mean.
Yep.
Rather than describing how the Earth could be spinning in your ideas that you hadn't been thinking about till I suggested them, you know, don't do the antithesis either. You don't say Earth's not spinning or Earth is stationary. Yeah, that is not a point that needs to be raised. It's a non-positive claim that isn't yours to defend. Yeah? What is your position to defend as Flat Earth, Dave, is that Earth is flat. Just say, you don't even have to use my words. Just say, yes, Earth is flat.
Yep.
And then this questioning would end.
Yes. He can't do it.
that it is level. I know for sure that all plumb bobs are parallel to each other and perpendicular.
Did he ask you, do you know for sure about anything with plumb bobs, Dave? He's loading the breech again. He can't believe, Jesse can't believe it. I'm surprised he didn't just throw his headphones down and walk away.
Again, Brian, are you there? Of all the swords to die on, right? Why would you pick one that you can't actually prove? Yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't.
How the hell would you prove that all plumb bobs are level just by those plumb bobs alone? It's not like Bev's water level. Water's level because it's level.
Yeah, it's not proof. It's not a proof.
Huh.
You have to be able to prove that all plumb bobs are. You know, if you're going to have to argue with someone who's saying it's not, which we unfortunately are, you know, you have to be able to prove that they are all parallel to each other.
Right. So you have to describe it with a principle that's put into practical application. So if you're describing angle measurement that's utilizing a plumb bob for the sake of argument, then you can describe how that's utilized and prove Earth is flat with the utilization process of the plumb bob. But just saying all plumb bobs are, he's describing an axiom, but he's not substantiating. It's surface regurgitation, isn't it?
Yes.
to horizontal. I know for sure that the oceans do not bend when at rest. I know for sure that we can see farther than the physical ball allows us to.
Stop. Do not bend. Right? Again, it's back to this. Don't stick the fork in the outlet. It does not bend. Who'd mentioned that it has?
Yep.
Your raison d'etre should be to install in the mind's eye of the person listening that Earth is flat and why, and nothing else. Now, obviously, as a flat earther, you'd expect to be able to deal with rebuttals. You're proactively offering up globe Earth rebuttals only as your position as flat Earth Dave. And it's just wrong.
Right? If there's a curvature, my mouth is behind the curvature.
OMG, Dave.
Just out of curiosity across the board, do any of my fellow flat earthers carry a globe around with them?
They've sent my firstborn a globe.
Come on, Dave. Answer the question, Dave.
That's all right. Jesse's loading it again. He didn't get up and walk away. He's loading another one in the breach. You just gotta put up with this retard nonsense.
You can't see it because of the curvature, a physical horizon. There is no physical horizon, and our optics today have made us see much farther than our naked eyes could before. We can see with our naked eyes farther than.
Wrong.
The optics today have made us see further than we've seen before.
With the naked eye. With the naked eye.
With the naked eye.
No, that's just a flat out incorrect statement. There is absolutely no change whatsoever with the optical resolution of your eyeball. That hasn't changed.
What he means is we've got better telescopes. Is that what he's actually meaning?
That's what he actually means, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, he just can't.
That's what he means by with the naked eye. He means when you look through a telescope with the naked eye.
He's just making it up as he goes, right? That's what he's doing.
No, I understand what he means. What he means is, you are strictly, when you look through a telescope or a set of binoculars, you're looking with your naked eye, because normally I have a little set of pajamas on them before I take them off before I look through binoculars.
Oh, brother.
And the geometric globe allows, and with optics we can see magnitudes farther. Now, the things that we can see at distances, there's two options. Earth is flat, or the Earth is 1,000 times bigger than they're telling us.
Uh-oh. Really? The Earth is 1,000 times? That's our two choices. False dichotomy fallacy, number one.
You've messed up where this has come from. This is more surface regurgitation. Right, this is the point that we didn't cover on Flat Earth Debate. Okay, so what's he actually doing there? He's regurgitating chaff from the black swan. So upon pointing out to an audience in 2020 that If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Distance to horizon in the black swan image is beyond 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Therefore, the horizon is not Earth curve, and the Earth is not a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles. Okay. Response from globe heads. Well, that means that all you've done is debunk the radius value of 3959 miles. Ergo, it could be a bigger sphere. Response from Dave. Well, that's what follows from Dave in chaff response, which is what he's been regurgitating. Well, it means that the Earth could be a much, much, much bigger sphere based on the optical resolution limit that we have increased over the years to see much further. Well, see much further is another feigned incorporation of the black swan, and he says it could be a much, much, much bigger ball. Why have we had that argument currently in our repertoire to have to respond to as a direct consequence of the black swan? Rather than just using the black swan argument, which is an absolute must if you're this type of flat earther, which is basically anti-ball earther, and the black swan should be the first thing in your arsenal, because it's the undoing of the globe assertion from their begging the Christian standpoint. So you should love that argument. It starts with, if Earth is a sphere, which is right up his alley, right? So why isn't he using it? Laziness. He's used to just saying, we see too far. He's been saying it since 2015. So when Black Swan comes along and he is a rebuttal that Earth could be bigger based on the fact that we see too far, that's all he's mentioned.
I'd like to add that you should absolutely love it when they take you down that train, because everything in their cosmology is tied to their radius value.
Yes,
So
sir.
if they don't have their radius of 3,959 miles, they don't have Venus being the same or relatively the same size as Earth, their distance to the sun, their orbits, their everything just goes down the crapper.
Yep.
It's worse than that. Yep. Well, it's worse than that. The reason that 3959 is important more than their extrapolations after the fact, which all become invalid. You are absolutely correct about that, by the way, Flatsy. What is more relevant is what must back engineer in terms of the calculations we take on Earth for things like navigation. Those values must back engineer into the area of equal elevation at the equator. That's just one big circle of equal elevation, as are all of the circles that move towards a polar-centric system. And each and every time that you measure out a circle of equal elevation or plot anything on a map, or back engineering, if you believe you're on a globe, obviously I should drop that in, you're back engineering those flat Earth measurements into the system that you believe in, that you will suggest is globe-centric. Well, if any of those measurements change, that is to say you increase the radial value, what you're essentially then doing is increasing the area of equal elevation at the equator. That's a flat circle for it to work accurately with the positions on the ground on all the maps. Now, yeah, the maps are all distorted. But the reason they still work is because that grid always matches up. Yeah, the ground, relative locations of the mapping can be different so long as they match with the grid. The grid requires that 3959 value must always match with the angle measurements to Polaris. It cannot change, or everything about both the flat Earth that it's been measured from and the globe that's been extrapolated out from it fail. You can't have any value other than 3959 because it's an actual measurement-based value. Minimum inferred measurement to Polaris. That is to say, the point that Polaris reaches the horizon. That's the last circle of equal elevation that you can use Polaris with. They call it the equator, outside edge of a sphere. The only reason the sphere works, if you want to say it does, is because it can be back engineered onto a flat Earth to give you the angles to Polaris. That's why it, in quotes, works. It doesn't. You can't get the angle off the curved surface that's inferred after the extrapolation. It doesn't work on a sphere. The back engineering of the flat Earth measurements can be put on a sphere. Doesn't mean it functions in reality. It doesn't. That's the only reason it works. So that's why it's critical for everyone to accept that last circle of equal elevation to Polaris. If you're a globe believer, you can't have anything other than a 3959 radial value because it's an actual used measurement in reality. Mapping and navigating. Just so happens that they use it as the outside edge of their sphere. It must back engineer into reality. That's the point.
Anything else on that?
And they're hiding more land, more resources. They're hiding all sorts of things. So
Are they?
Oh,
Oh, can I have some substantiation to that, please? I'll go and mine it. Give it me in dollars and tons, please.
it's called Lemuria.
How much is it worth?
Or billions, quadrillions.
How did you quantify this? Give it me in weights.
No, Epstein told us how much it was worth before he went off there.
Oh, right.
do I know for sure the Earth is flat? I know for sure it's not a globe.
There you go.
Why are you calling yourself Flat Earth Dave then? Not a globe Dave. Let's get the name straight.
Guess what Jesse's gonna do now.
I've got my iPad open to make another mark.
Ask him again.
Here we go.
And so, do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
Well,
I'm answering him.
Let's do a bit of a build-up for this. This is Adam Meakin's elevator pitch if he was asked this question the first time. Go ahead, Adam.
Yes, sir, it is. The Earth is observed, measured, surveyed, built upon, aviated, mapped, and navigated flat.
Bravo.
let's take a look at this. So here is a view.
But you're not answering my question.
I'm going to answer your question.
You might not be able to see me on the camera yet, but I'm black and slow.
I see you.
I'm black and slow. Oh, you can see me. You notice that I'm black and slow now.
Right.
So before we move on, do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
It's 10.
I'll answer that question after you answer this question. Okay?
No.
You gotta love how Jesse is holding him to task on this, and he is just persevering to not answer the question. This is what you get if you're in this camp, guys. I'm just saying.
The camp being flat Earth belief.
Yep.
Globe
Can't answer a direct question.
As demonstrated, the camp is not anything to do with it. It's not a ball.
Matrix.
Yeah, it was Globetard Tactics Dave. That's what he's doing. That's the Globetard Tactics we get on a daily basis. Dodge the question. He's a weasel. Nothing more.
Exactly, Matrix. 100% agree. What I like here is Jesse is saying to him, you see me here, I'm just down here in the corner, black and slow. He's kind of saying to him, do you think that you can get one over me with your rubbish? Do you think you can red herring away from the question that you have not answered 10 times? All I have to do is, all Jesse has to do is just sit there, wait for him to waffle on and finish, and then ask him the same question again.
Yeah, he's
Got all that. Got
He's
all that
anything
from
but
Black and
slow.
Slow. Got all that from Black and Slow. Wow, amazing.
He's not slow. He's right. He's right on point. He's sharp.
Yeah.
He's the reason. He's the reason that people still come in here with 2015 understanding that that's why, because they're for whatever reason more popular, which sucks.
Wait, are we all seeing Eli's avatar?
Tons.
You need to get that arm sorted out. You need to take that to a doctor. You've got some sort of growth on it.
Wait, say again?
Did you need to get that arm looked at?
Complimenting the guns, Eli.
If the Earth is the size that they tell us, which is 24,901 miles around, it's hard to see out here, but there's a whole bunch of mountains.
You
the
still
Alps.
didn't answer my question yet.
I'm going
No way.
to answer.
What question was that, Jesse?
When are you going to answer?
What question was that? What question was that, Jesse? We hadn't noticed.
This is my
After
favorite
the
line.
show?
After.
Oh, we missed it. I'm gonna pull Jay.
Put the two fivers. Let's
Yeah.
hear all of that in one go.
Yep, here we go.
It's hard to see out here, but there's a whole bunch of mountains.
You
the
still
Alps.
didn't answer my question yet.
I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer it.
When are you
can
going to
see
answer? After the show?
That's classic. We love you, Jesse. We love you. We're doing that again. Look at his face, though, not what he says.
Around. It's hard to see out here, but there's a whole bunch of mountains.
You
the
still
Alps.
didn't answer my question yet.
I'm going to answer it.
When are you
can
going to
see
answer? After the show?
All right, I'll let it go.
After this slide.
That, Nathan, is a short, mate. That is the funniest. The driest cutting remark is brilliant.
All right, here we go.
One more time.
Really?
Yeah, well, just
Yeah,
carry
go
on.
I had
acting,
my
don't
mic closed
stop
when
it
I
again.
laughed the second time. You were like, "Oh, I'll carry on then," because everyone kept their mic closed while they were laughing.
Here we go. Last time.
To see out here, but there's a whole bunch of mountains.
You
the
still
Alps.
didn't answer my question yet.
I'm going to answer it.
When are you
can
going to
see
answer? After the show?
After.
Yeah, pull the other one, Dave.
Here we go.
After this slide. All right. So these mountains, according to the Earth's size, should be behind 50 miles of curvature. They should be 50 miles below the
damn.
curvature.
I hate it. I've got to stop him. According to the Earth size, what size would that be? Would it be the inferred maximal radial value of an area of equal elevation, also known as the outside edge of a sphere they call the equator? According to that Earth size measured flat. Because to get to this point, you've got to have a measurement of an Earth that's flat to start talking about elevations of heights of mountains. That's elevations. Remember we covered them earlier on this show? Talked about how high things are off the surface level with respect to sea level. That's an elevation. It's got to take a flat Earth elevation, take an outside edge of a sphere measured flat with an area of equal elevation from Polaris, put it through an Earth curve calculator that takes the differential surface level, that's flat also, and eye level, that's parallel with the surface level, to infer a differential between the two that gives you a point below surface level called Earth curve, for him to then say that this is the size of Earth. It's not. He's again put it in the mind's eye. Don't put the fork in the electrical socket. This is the size of Earth. And how far we should see based on that is X. No, you need a whole bunch of flat Earth prerequisite measurements to get to this stage. Dave's jumping right in with their claim after they've hijacked flat Earth measurements, put them through a calculation that calculates the difference between eye level and surface level that's flat, to say there's Earth curve, to infer how big it is, for him to suggest it on their behalf. This is so infuriating.
But we can see them. What would that tell you? Would that tell you that the Earth is flat?
You asking me that?
I'm asking you that.
I don't know, because I know that the Earth, because it's made of dirt, it tends to go fall from one thing to another. It's never stay the same due to the fact that it is created from dirt. So the mountains can be one place or one way today and another place. So do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
Stop. I got that. We'll get it on the rewind. That's 11. But nevertheless, that's an interesting take. So I think where Dave was preemptively pointing out that there's deviations from the horizontal plane of reference for heights and depths of valleys and mountains, right? That is to say that Flat Earth Dave said Earth isn't flat. But he's done that preemptively when he didn't need to. Because when it actually got to the nitty-gritty of what Jesse actually would respond to and just did, he's suggesting that there's an entropic nature to Earth that means it ebbs and flows, even the mountains. Now, I've never heard anybody put that to me, ever. That's completely unique and original. I've never heard it phrased in that way. So, number one, it's going to be interesting to hear what Dave's got to respond to it. But I would widen my eyes slightly if it wouldn't necessarily come up naturally in conversation with me because it wouldn't have gone this way. But it has in this instance, and it's interesting to hear his take on it. He's not referencing anything inside our typical globe Earth versus flat Earth structure that we would know. Right? That was so from left field that obviously I'd be able to cope with it, and it wouldn't, like I say, potentially come up at all if I was talking to this gentleman, Jesse. But it has, and it isn't what he preemptively put out when he's given his, I've heard this chaff before, and I'll give you the response before you've even given me the claim. So it had no bearing when he was talking about heights and valleys and not flat. He's just shot himself in the foot for absolutely no reason, because that's the real response that Jesse's got when he had the question put back to him, even though he's the one hosting and asking the bleeding questions. But there we go. So I don't know how you or anybody else would have coped with that question. It's not really a particular, it's a non-issue. It's a nothing burger. It's just interesting to hear that when you deal with people outside of the arena, you don't have to worry about the chaff you've dealt with. You might get something from left field like this that's so unrelated it's untrue. An interesting take, Jesse. However, when we actually come to measure what we know about Earth and the height of the mountains, it's with respect to sea level. That's level. Everything's all referencing a topographical plane. Yeah, you know that word, don't you, Dave? Just don't know what it means. I'm done.
Sure, and without a doubt, that the Earth is flat.
What's your definition of flat? Is flat a...
Here we go again. Third time asking Jesse what his definition of flat is. What? Look at your dumbass.
perfectly smooth surface? Because then, no, it's not flat.
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
Still laughing.
12.
Yep.
I know for sure, without a doubt, that there is no curvature. So if
there you go.
Something doesn't have curvature, then
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Why the political speak on such a simple question? It's now embarrassing. And all you're showing now, and all Jesse's going to be thinking is, why won't he answer this? All I've got to do is keep going. This is, he's a bit of a journalist, but anyone with half a brain is going, why won't Flat Earth Dave just tell me why he knows it's flat?
It's what?
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
13.
I keep asking me, Jesse, but if something doesn't have curvature, then it's what?
Do you know for sure?
He's going to ask him again. Asking a question back is not answering the question, Dave. Is this one of your? Did you get this one off Shitless? One of your question proofs, idiot.
I think I know the answer. I know why Dave's not saying it. Because then he'll ask him, how do you know it's flat? How did you measure it? And I think that's what he's afraid of.
Megatrix. This is what you're talking about. This is an epitome of all a conversation, what you raised earlier, this bit.
Then it's what?
Do you know for sure that the Earth is flat without a doubt?
If something isn't moving, then it's what?
Did you pull a fiver for that one? Are we up to 14? Yeah?
Yeah, we're up to 14.
I just hear if something isn't moving, it's flat.
Yeah, but we got to don't mark this one down, Nathan. We got to get that again.
This is flat without a doubt.
If something isn't moving, then it's what?
Why are you not answering my question so we can move on?
Yeah, good question.
Because the answer is
You stuttering fool.
And this is exactly like we deal with the ballers. You were right to bring Matrix in to highlight that, Adam, because exactly this is how we deal with the ballers day in, day out. It's reminiscent of a conversation we had 2 days ago when the baller has used an elevation, have babbled on about Antarctica and talked about their affirming the consequent. And then when we get to the references have got coordinates and angle measurements. We're taking the baller by the short hairs and pointing out that they're utilising flat earth measurements for the start of this particular claim. Now, when we do this, the response we get is the same as this. I count off how many times I have to ask the same question, which in that instance was, you will be using a flat earth for your elevation, or whatever the question is. They definitely don't want to just give an affirmative answer to. In that case, the question's the same. So you'll be needing a flat earth is no different to Jesse asking Dave, so you know the earth's flat. But neither's getting an answer. It's weird.
Let Nathan talk.
Let Nathan talk.
Let Kiwi talk.
Now let Kiwi talk.
Super
Superchat, super mustache, super booger.
That was so cute. Roger Ledwell sent, Dave needs us, ... He needs something.
Does, but the problem is that I've appealed to him on many times previous with various subjects. Each and every year we have sort of one major subject, not through choice, it's just the way it seems to go. And in the past I've approached people like Dave and they've shunned me. In some instances it's got me called a scammer. So yeah, Dave does need us, but they don't want to need us for whatever reason. I'll give you the super chat.
Pull a $5, let's get that whole thing in there.
Because the answer is what is the definition of flat?
Because the answer is, what is the definition of flat?
Two J's. Let's hear that question and hear that answer as a response to the question again. That's really telling again.
All right, 2 J's for you. Don't mark anything down, Nathan.
Then it's what?
Do you know for sure that the earth is flat without a doubt?
If something isn't moving, then it's what?
Why are you not answering my question so we can move on?
Because the answer is what is the definition of flat? Like, is it
why are you not answering my? Why are you not answering my question? Because the answer is, oh shit, I can't actually say what my answer would be, but you see what I mean there? Mouth engaged, brain kicks in, because the answer would mean I'd incriminate myself, and I would mean I'm not flat earth Dave. It's not a ball Dave.
That was incredibly stupid. Let's do it again. We'll go 2 5s. Here we go. Don't mark it down, Nathan.
Why are you not answering my question so we can move on?
Because the answer is what is the definition of flat? Like, is a table flat?
You don't know what flat.
Why are you not answering my question? Because it is a what is the definition of flat?
I'm going to do a couple of quick shout outs, then we're going to get Neil's response. Or actually, let's get Neil's first, and then we'll do the shout outs.
No, I just said this is very sad.
Perfect. Okay, right. So the Divergent Droid campaign is well underway. It's reached $1,000, which is fantastic. There's one big shout out. It shouldn't be worthy of an extra credit, but it will get one anyway. So before I do that one, shout out to Daniel Samaniego for supporting the campaign with $50. Thank you very much indeed. It says keep your head up, brother. Thank you for your sentiment and thank you for your contribution, Daniel. But also G.E. Platypus, who donated $200 and says, "Hello, Bertha here. We may differ on what we know the shape of the Earth to be. That doesn't mean I can't sympathise with the struggles of another human being. I hope this helps." Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you so much, G.E. Platypus.
That's cool.
It's awesome, Platypus. You're really raising your game. I'm telling you. Over the past couple days, my take on you has completely changed.
I mean, he's always been kind of cool.
Is that Elijah with his mic open again?
Not all ballers are ball cowards. That's what I would say. They're just ballers.
Is
been a number of times that in this arena, when genuine stuff's out there, that there are, despite the majority of our engagements, there are still actually people that believe it a ball that are out there are decent human beings. And I would include Rufy in that. There's been many a time, he's helped me. Whilst, as he says, we're not necessarily going to change his viewpoint. He's still a decent person, and he's part of this community. Whether he likes it or not, he spends a lot of time here. So, thank you, because that just, because it's a bit bigger than just the initial argument.
Absolutely, and that's a testament to the frequency of Ruhif's support and why he gets so many mentions. Admittedly, you could say, well, you're always talking down about him and laughing at him and asking him how his geometric horizon's working out. Yeah, we're engaging with him because in most cases when you engage with people, not true always because I've got a public show and randos join, but when you frequently participate or engage with someone, it's because typically you like them. Yeah. Now, it might be that you like the fight. That doesn't change that you enjoy or take joy from your engagement with that particular individual. Now, Ruhif, as Adam's just noted, has gone above and beyond in that regard. He's financially supported me personally when I've literally been in need, like, oh God, I'm screwed. And but for the fact that Ruhif, not just Ruhif, lots of other people, but as he's getting a note specifically, Ruhif has helped me out. And that's a testament to him as a good person. I'd never go out of my way to, I might have done in the heat of rage, called him a nasty name. If you actually grilled me, I'd be like, no, Rufus is a good person. We don't agree on this subject, and he's good to participate. He actually provides quite a lot of content for my show, especially via Adam, who engages with him far often than I. I just don't tend to engage with anybody off my show. That's not true for Globe Earth, it's true for everyone. But my point is that when someone like this, in this case, I've forgotten his name already. Let's just bring it back up. G. Platypus.
Platypus isn't moving.
When someone like that does that, we're getting. He's doing what I do to you, Brian.
No, I did. Sorry, it was a mistake. I was off mute too. I said platypus, but I was on mute. Go ahead, Nathan. Sorry.
Yes, when someone like that does that, it does show the general decency of normal people. And I'm glad he identified himself as Globe Earther, because your typical anti-flat earther doesn't necessarily fit into the category of just a normal, decent human being. Many are labelled anti-flat earther aren't decent human beings. A lot of them are scum, in the way they behave, especially towards us. That's not necessarily a stereotype for all globe / anti-flat earth or people who stand against us. It's just to say that there are scummy people. And some of them oppose us, and therefore it does get quite dirty sometimes when we get into the debates. But it's nice to see that there are people on the opposing side who don't stereotype like everybody else we deal with, or so it seems. And that's a nice example of that. So thank you, Geoplatypus.
Well, let's put it this way. Is Platypus or Ruhif pretending to be on our side and going on to Jesse Lee Peterson's show and making an idiot of himself and everyone that he's supposed to represent? No.
In terms of advancing the argument, I would argue, Brian, sorry, just to go off that point, I would argue that someone like... Well, I just wanted to go along with your point. I would argue in that vein, that because Ruhif has pushed us to defend our position better, right, with cogent arguments, he's advanced our arguments, which are the best ones.
Are we talking about the same Rufy?
Yeah, he's pushed us into arguing.
I have an objection to that, but I'll have it overruled for right now. I think you're stretching it a bit, but please finish your point.
Yeah, Brian.
My point would be that even anti-flat earthers aren't pretending that they are our friends or that they're on our side, like David Weiss. At
Yep.
least I know that they're not on my side, and they're very straightforward and open about it publicly. Not like David Weiss was pretending that he's representing me, and then he's doing a horrendous job time after time. And the same with Jerome Campanella.
All right, here we go.
Then it's what?
Why are you not answering my question so we can move on?
Because the answer is what is the definition of flat? Like, is a table flat?
You don't
Take
know
a
what
microscope,
flat
look at a table. Take a microscope, look at a table.
You don't
can
know
see
what
holes and valleys on
you
there.
don't know
Is it
what
flat?
is, but yet you call yourself a flat earth expert.
That was brilliant.
Wait, I gotta go back, Nathan. Here we go.
Know what
Microscope, look
flat
at a
is?
table. Take a microscope, look at a table.
You don't
can
know
see holes
what
and valleys on
you
there.
don't know
Is it
what
flat?
flat is, but yet you call yourself a flat earth expert. What the?
What the?
Yeah, see.
That should resonate with you. I mean, this is what we've been saying for years, and it takes somebody who's on the outside looking in to say the same thing we're saying. Because, like Brian was saying earlier, and I want to massage his ego, I did just talk over him completely. There's this perception that we are attacking our own side, and we don't tolerate nonsense that comes from them, or we object to somebody like Dave not proving Earth is flat and calling himself Flat Earth Dave. When we object, it's, why are you attacking your own side? Why don't you just attack the globe side? Well, because this guy's representing us. He's an ambassador for the subject. Here he is doing an interview, being embarrassed because he can't answer if Earth's flat or not. There's a straight question that's got a yes or no answer attached to it. Well, this is why. You know, prick your ears up if you're listening and you're like of that ilk that thinks that we're wrong to criticise. We're not. It's the same criticism from someone who's completely devoid of any attachment to this subject.
If there's anybody that at any point was holding a mirror at us on this level of criticism, maybe there's been points in the past. Remember the question that's being asked here. And then this is what we wanted all these years, to get in to a more mainstream audience. And this is your opportunity. The only question that's being asked is, how do you know that it's flat?
No,
This is our
that's not the question.
representation.
No, that's not the question. That's not the
I've been
question.
Jedi mind tricked.
Yes, you've been Jedi mind tricked. That's not the question. Do you know for sure, without a doubt, that the Earth is flat? Not how. Do you know? Yes or no? Now, the next question, logical follow-on question to that, is how and why?
We haven't had that yet. Right. Exactly. We've been saying this in 2024. So I, with a bit of humility, was saying, no, up until now, I had issues with some of the standards that we laid down as flat earthers. And this isn't going to shock any of the panel. They've all heard it. Now, they've all given their criticisms when I say, I don't really like the sea sparrow. Why not? I don't know. It just doesn't, it's just not a silver bullet for me. And I would be saying those things. Now, what do I really mean by that? What I mean is, back then, if I was in this position like Dave is now, I'd have the same problem, which is I couldn't honestly put hand on heart and go, I know it's flat. Now, in 2024, we're saying, right, here's the silver bullet. We got there. It took us 10 years. It's measured flat. And it's used like that unilaterally for everybody, without exception. Now you know it's flat. At the start of the year, I'm saying you can take two things away from this. Number one, you're a cursory watcher. You just come to the show and you hear us nice and concisely describing in a couple of sentences how Earth is measured flat. And you as an audience member can step away from the subject and know Earth is flat, because that is how it is measured. Now, that doesn't mean that that person can then enter into a bleeding debate with next man, because you're going to fail because you don't know the intricacies. You know enough to satisfy this question being asked of you. If you turned around, if push came to shove and were asked, so you're a flat earther. You know Earth's flat. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's how it's measured. You'd have enough to get by if you were pushed into it and you really didn't want to. But we wouldn't suggest that type of person on that path who comes as a cursory watcher goes into debate. Now, if that's super chat.
Don't
Just give the other example, then we get.
Don't rumpus booger. Super mustache, super booger.
Roger Ledwell sent, this makes it hard for us. Pukey face, pukey face.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other type of person is the person that does want to get into a debate, i.e. Dave. Like we appeal to in terms of knowing your stuff, because then you can reactively respond to a globe claim and point out where Earth is measured flat. But obviously, in order to do that, you've got to know the ins and outs of the heliocentric claim to know where they're measuring Earth flat in their claim for each and every instance, which means you've got to have an absolutely shit-hot knowledge of this subject, the ins and outs of it, so you can disseminate it in debate. That's not the first guy I described, but the first guy would still be able to answer this question, wouldn't he?
Yep.
Do you know it's flat? Yeah. And then you get the follow-up. How? So it's measured. And then they'd move on. But Dave can't even reach that standard, the minimum standard that I want my audience members to walk away from. I will end eventually, I promise you. There's a reason I want them to attain that standard when they leave my show. It's because that is what I've been striving for 10 years. That is what I never got when I was so enthused about the subject when I first got here. That doesn't mean I'm not as enthused now as I was when I first got here, but my enthusiasm waned because I never got what I desired as an audience member. Where's your silver bullet? Where's this stone cold, absolutely cannot be contested proof that Earth is flat? It's uncontestable. Where's that? Give me that. And I never got it. It really frustrated me. It's partially the reason I've got a debate to get to that stage. So now we're here. We're right here. And we've been shouting it for 6 months. So when we see an ambassador for our own damn subject not being able to answer, how do you know it's flat? Or do you know it's flat?
Okay.
I don't get Adam's treatment.
Booger, save us,
It's a shame.
superintendent, superficial, super salad, super booger.
Platypus sent, my question is, why is he avoiding answering? That's our question.
Yeah,
also,
that's our
Platypus.
question too.
Let me answer him. The reason is because he doesn't know.
Yep.
That's the end perfect segue to end out my waffle,
Yep.
which is to say that
Yeah, he's
at the bare minimum, we should be leaving our audience knowing that Earth is flat as a bare minimum. And he can't reach that standard because Dave Weiss doesn't know it's flat. If he did, he'd just say yes, wouldn't he?
Yep.
And he isn't. It's not subtle. It's not difficult to understand. If you're asked if you know something and you can't just say yes, it's because you don't. He doesn't know Earth is flat, and that is the exact rhetoric we've been barking about since the start of 2024. You need to know it's flat, not have what we've had for 10 years, a flat Earth belief.
Speak for yourself.
Well, Nathan.
But wait a second. In the beginning, he said it's measured.
What is the definition
Sorry.
of
Here we go.
You go,
flat?
Neil, go after.
Like, is a table?
Oh, I
something
was
to say.
going to go.
There's three people want to talk, and QE wants to play the video. I know you're paying QE.
No, go
You
ahead.
want to get through.
Go ahead, Brian, then
Come, Booger.
Neil.
Just let Booger get in first and then start people talking.
Booger's here again. Super mustache, super booger.
Superchat.
The American in the Philippines sent, he can't answer because he doesn't listen to this show and Nathan's show.
I don't know. It goes far deeper than that.
Yeah.
I'll go with
no.
that. No, I'll go with that. He doesn't know because he's not subscribed to Nathan Oakley 1980 and Quantum Eraser and paying attention to what we put out, or Brian's Logic, or any of the other people on the panel. If he was, he wouldn't be in this troublesome position. That's absolutely right. Whoever said that super chat. Yes.
Super chat.
Super booger.
Superchat.
Into the break sent, you get a flat earth measurement, you get a flat earth measurement, you get a flat earth measurement, you all get a flat earth measurement. Oh, like Oprah, like you get a flat earth
Yeah,
measurement. You
right.
get a-
Yes, good one. Yeah, nicely done. All right, Brian, you wanted to add something quickly, and then Neil?
Yeah, I'll add it quickly. Just when Nate's talking about stone cold flat earth proofs, I actually may have just stumbled across one right now while the show has been on. Something I went about before, but I went about it the wrong way, involving the dip correction and the insertion of the globe 7, in particular 7, not greater than 7, not less, just 7 over 6R. I'll go through it with you in the coming days.
Okay. Neil.
Very exciting.
Well, just on that.
Adam,
Sorry,
that doesn't.
Neil.
I knew I
Neil.
get his attention.
Are you Neil now, Adam?
Adam Nielsen.
Adam
bad.
Nielsen.
I kneeled, Neil. I'm so sorry, dude.
I'm taking your advice and keeping it on for a second before I start to speak. So didn't he say in the beginning of the show that it's measured? So what was he just saying that?
Yeah, surface regurgitation.
Oh, that's sad.
All right, is that it? Here we go.
What is the definition of flat? Like, is a table flat?
You don't
Take a
know what
microscope, look
flat
at the table. Take a microscope, look at a table.
You don't
and
know
can see
what
hills and valleys on
you
there.
don't know
Is it
what
flat?
flat is, but yet you call yourself a flat Earth expert. What the?
Jesse, Jesse, let me ask you a question. You look at your kitchen table and it looks flat, but then you take an electron microscope and look at it. There's mountains and valleys on.
Electron microscope. I didn't think you believed in electrons. Same Van de Graaff generator, idiot nonsense. Using a particle accelerator and you don't believe in particles. Shout out to Shitsit. Clown.
There. Is it flat?
Hold on, he said,
What's that?
He said, you don't know what flat is? And you call yourself flat Earth, Dave.
You call
Is
yourself
that-
no. He said you call yourself a flat Earth expert? What the?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you won't answer my question as if no, I'm just playing.
Is your kitchen table flat?
Now he's gonna rumpus you.
But you won't answer. You're the expert.
I'm going to
here.
answer it. I'm going to answer
You're
it if you
the
answer that.
expert here on
Is
flat.
your kitchen
You're the
table
expert.
flat?
Stop rumpusing him. You clown.
I'll add that one. That one was definitely making the list, even though it was rumpus.
Here on flat Earth, right? And you came highly recommended, and you can't even answer the question if you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat. How can you be a flat?
You're compromised. You came highly recommended, and you can't even answer a simple question.
Okay.
Super mustache, super booger, superintendent.
Roger Ledwell sent Dave is afraid to go all in.
All in. He's not anywhere near the rim.
Yeah, that's right. They were saying all in with flat Earth. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, that's right. All in being, you'd be all in if you knew, right? So when it came to somebody saying, "Will you bet on flat Earth?" to me, of course, have every chip. Can I put my car in my house?
Yep.
You know what I mean? That would be my attitude. That's what he's saying. And when Jesse said you call yourself a flat Earth expert, that's the real problem, isn't it? I'm going to vouch for everybody who's in this panel and say we are experts in this field. We've spent hundreds of thousands of hours studying it and discussing it. We are experts. Dave has not done that. They've spent thousands of hours on the PR trail promoting Flat Earth Dave. He's not an expert in this subject, and that's the real problem. He's not an expert. We're the experts. We don't get to be in front of people as much as I could bitch and moan about the reasons behind that. Yeah, Dave's better at PR. He's just not better at being an expert.
And you can't even answer the question if you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat. How can you be a flat earther and you don't know what flat is?
Where's Nathan Thomas or whatever? I've got a question for you, Dave.
Beautiful. Beautiful performance. If he was here, Jesse Lee Peterson, I'd decorate you myself for staying on topic. Just for focus. He must have I don't Adderall underneath his desk, getting it in a vein. Kudos to you,
No,
sir.
QE, he knows that what he's going to get is waffle. So he just has to sit there and wait for the waffle to end and then ask the same question again.
Yep.
He knew, I think, before this started, exactly what question to ask David Weiss. And he knew what David Weiss was going to do. He had two options. If he took the option of waffle, then he knew that he was going to, all he has to do is just sit there, wait for the waffle to end, ask him again. It's easy work for Jesse Lee Peterson.
I'm really a true earther, a level plane.
Oh, there it
Boom.
was. There it is. There it is, folks. You got your answer. Jesse Lee Peterson, I thought you were a flat earther. Dave, I'm really a true earther. Remember this, folks? The true earth, the scam. That's what he is. He's not a flat earther. He's a true earther. There you go. He came out of his own mouth.
So Brian's right.
I
He's
have
working
to-
his way into ether.
No, it
But
makes
I
him a
have to-
liar. Makes him a liar. He's hijacked the subject and utilized it to promote something that isn't the subject. What does that make him? A fraud.
Yep.
Well, I have to say something here. I have to commend Bev here. Because even though what Bev has done with the whole, it's not flat, there's hills and mountains and, elevation changes, that has led to people like David Weiss changing their tune and calling themselves true earthers. And now Dave is held to task by Jesse Lee Peterson. And when it comes to the crunch of answering, do you know for definite that the earth is flat? Dave, I don't know why he's mixing in anything to do with what Bev is saying, with what he's been asked by Jesse Lee Peterson. They're two different people. But for whatever reason, right, when it comes to the crunch, Dave barrels it or whatever, and he switches his position. He's now not a flat earther, he's a true earther. So that stuff started because Bev was holding them to task, and they were having geometric arguments about the term flat, not realizing that it's not a geometric position statement. So this is where Bev got that ball rolling, and that's why he's able to now switch his position to this true earther nonsense. What does that mean?
So,
what a true earther?
well, guys,
What is
what Brian's saying is he's what Bev has inadvertently done is caught out all of the flat Earth believers.
Yep.
And now, as a result, because they can't justify their own belief in flat Earth, have switched positions to true Earth because they can't basically say, "Yeah, I know it's flat," because they can't do that. They've had to switch their positions. Bev has induced that, I think, is what Brian's saying.
Yep.
Bev deserves the laugh he'll have off this. Go on.
Go ahead,
He
Adam.
deserves the laugh, Bev.
You can't say go ahead and then keep talking. So go ahead, Adam.
Go ahead, Brian.
Is that what they do in North Africa?
Go ahead, Neil.
Okay, so I don't necessarily disagree with the point of Bev's attempt to feign, and the point he proves ruining some people's head that they can't actually rebut Bev's point. But that's not the motivation for David Weiss announcing that he's not a flat earther, he's a true earther. The differential here isn't a Bev point that makes him a true earther. It's the fact that with a true earther, you invoke ether. That's part of the church, as they describe themselves, the true earthers. And that's not a Bevonian thing, it's an Etherian thing that he's ascribing to.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't saying that it was because of Bev. I'm saying that a lot of these people, all these people, started coming up with the true earther, calling themselves true earthers, because Bev and people around Bev were holding them to task on Discord about it, and they end up switching their position from flat earthers to true earthers, right? But it just happens to be handy for people like David Weiss.
So
He's fine about it.
Sorry.
Go on.
Sorry.
Go on. Beth.
Yeah, I was saying, so a true earther is maybe a bigger globe earther. It's pretty funny.
Adam, you want to finish it off real quick?
I think Flatsy summed it up perfectly. Yeah, within what Dave has divulged this evening, within the True Earth model, from what he's prepared to commit to, doesn't have to be flat. It could just be a really, really big ball.
Let's hear him say it again.
For sure, and without a doubt, that the Earth is flat. how can you be a flat earther and you don't know what flat is?
I'm really a true earther, a level plane, non-rotating
There you go. He's a true earther. There you go, folks.
earther.
So you're not a flat earther.
I'm going to answer the question. If you
So you're not a flat earther. He's going to answer your question if you can answer his question again. This little charade. What an embarrassment you are.
My thing about it is, let me switch my mic.
Give him a second. He's switching mics.
My thing about it is,
Super chat.
Ooh.
There you go.
Super
You have
booger.
to yield to that, Eli. One second, Eli. We'll
Super
come back to you in a
stupid.
sec.
Super nachos.
I was giving him time to get his mic. I didn't know it was going to be that quick. Sorry, Eli. But Roger Ledwell says, remember, don't touch the trim of the Squidbillies.
Don't touch the trim. That Elijah, go.
yeah, my problem with it, like, I don't understand. Like, somebody needs to tell him that level and plane are synonymous with flat. Like, please, somebody tell him.
Nope, not telling him. Here we go.
answer this question,
You're a
your
true
kitchen
earthy and
table-
not a flat earthy?
I'm going to
You're not a flat earthy. You're a true earther, not a flat earthy.
he's only taking the Mickey out of him at
Now
this
he's
stage.
getting mocked.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
I'm gonna tell you that
I'm gonna.
the Earth is flat if you answer this question.
No, you keep asking me questions. I'm answering your
Is
question.
your kitchen table flat?
Oh,
I don't have one.
Is your desk flat? Is the desk?
He's a
flat?
legend,
you
isn't
know-
he?
Yes, legend.
Yeah, that. Dave's not even picked up. Yeah, he's just being battered off. But that is the response. I don't even have a kitchen table, man. This is so embarrassing for us. Yeah.
Yep.
Said it before. Say this is your moment, and look at what's doing. So if anyone dares criticizes for this absolute shit show as a representation, this is the pinnacle. He's come on. And now Flat Earth Dave isn't even a flat earther. What's he here for? He's here to pimp ether. That's what he's here for.
No,
Flatsy
for
pointed out,
sure,
it
and
doesn't
without
Sorry, Adam.
I was going to say, Flatsy pointed out, it doesn't even have to be flat. Just be a big ball, as this guy has told the audience on our behalf.
Well, wouldn't it be great if we had Jesse Lee Peterson representing us instead of Flat Earth Dave? But instead, we have Jesse Lee Peterson pulling apart Flat Earth Dave, who is supposed to be representing us.
a doubt that the Earth is flat. Expert.
In your definition,
That's another one, Nathan.
16 times so far.
So, expert, do you know without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
of flat, if your desk is flat, if your floor is flat,
That's not an answer to his question.
then the Earth is flat.
Well, I don't have a floor. I have a dirt floor.
You're standing on a floor right now. Come on, Jesse.
No, I'm standing on a stage.
You're having a good time, aren't you? You pretender clown fraud. Having a really good time, aren't you? Look at this. Look at this. You disgust me. You're an embarrassment. Your charter's revoked. That and your two butt brothers. Making a fiasco out of us.
Stage.
You're on a stage. So is the stage flat?
It's kind of round.
Oh, come on. Is it flat? I'm not talking about the
There
exterior.
are
I'm talking
portions
about the
of it
surface.
that are flat, but there are portions that are round. And so, do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
Nathan?
17.
If you describe something as not having curvature as being flat, then
My word.
What's interesting?
yes, for sure, I know that it's flat.
Oh,
I'm
he said
sorry?
it. He said that at the end of that. I'm sorry, Adam. Go ahead. I'm going to rewind.
Just something I've noticed, because with YouTube you can section parts of the video and title them. Interesting. I've been looking at it. Is the Earth flat was one of the previous titles. This one is, and this is what the neutral person who's just in the editing suite has titled this section. I'm a true earthier.
Yep.
He's laughing. He's not even put true earther. He's picked up on Jesse taking the mick. Even the editing guy is laughing at Dave.
Doubt that the Earth is flat.
If you describe something as not having curvature as being flat, then yes, for sure, I know that it's flat.
No, that's a non-answer. You're
Yeah, what I actually said was if you describe things as not having curvature.
Right.
So I'll only say yes if it comes with the prerequisite that it's not curving.
Yep.
So long as I'm telling you not to put the fork in the outlet, then I'll accept a yes answer given.
Yep.
I'm sorry?
If something does not curve, then it
There it
is
is.
flat.
Yep.
So you don't know for sure if the Earth is flat.
I do know that the Earth does not curve. There
I'd count that. Would you count that? So you don't know for sure that the Earth is flat. It's a slight paraphrasing of the same question, but it is the same question asked and not answered. So I'm going to add that. That's 18.
Yep.
He still didn't answer it directly. Caveats to something that doesn't need a caveat is not a direct answer.
And it's the most egregious caveat there is. Only if you have an idea of how bally it isn't first.
There is no curvature.
But you're saying everything but what I'm asking.
That's a contradiction as well. Pause it. There is no curvature for sure. Your previous statement was that there's hills and valleys.
Correct.
So that's contradiction.
Yep.
I thought I
you're
answered
saying everything but what I'm asking. That's actually this is the when Matrix was saying earlier, yeah, this is like a conversation with a baller. This is what Jesse's just said. Yeah, very politely and succinctly. Yeah, he's so quick, isn't he? And cutting.
What did he say?
He said you're answering everything but what I'm asking.
Yep.
Give him a J.
Pull a J.
not curve. There is no curvature.
But you're saying everything but what I'm asking.
There you go.
I thought I answered the question pretty good.
What a hesitation there.
Remember the silence you were talking about earlier, Nathan? That silence said it all.
Yep. Let's hear that one more time. Or not hear it. Oh, let's go back. Yeah, just sit there and smile, you moron.
You're saying everything but what I'm asking.
I thought I answered the question pretty good.
Not yet. Not yet. I need.
Do I know for sure that the Earth is flat? There's two options.
Let your yes be yes and your no.
There's two options.
Hold on. Do I count it if Dave's reiterating the question?
No.
Okay.
Listen to that again. There's two options for a close-ended question.
I need.
Do I know for sure that the Earth is flat? There's two options.
Let your yes be yes and your no's be no.
That's beautiful. Exactly. Absolutely right, dead on point, Jesse. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That's it. You got it. Simple as that.
Do you know for sure that the Earth is flat?
Nathan.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I thought he was asking me.
No. Number 19, correct?
Yes, that's 19.
Well, he said he was Christian, so he said let your yes be yes and your no be no.
That the Earth is flat.
Since you're forcing me to answer this, I will answer it. It is either flat or.
What is this? A gang up in prison?
chat.
Superstition, Supertramp, Superman.
I want to say super like.
Super like.
Super like.
5 Angels sent, I wish these guys would come onto a real show and ask their questions. Calling out a replay is like barking at a bad TV show for a better ending. Oh, yeah. It ain't going to change the ending, that's for sure.
Very nice. Thank you. Adam, you had something to say?
Yeah, I mean, that's an appeal to format, which is a well-known YouTube format, 5 Angels, but thanks for the super chat. But there is a bigger purpose to this particular video review on YouTube that we're doing. Because this is the moment where Flat Earth, these were part of us lot, we were all together once, and we've been castigated and cast aside because, you know, we think science proves things. Yeah, silly things like that, because we can actually move forward and make a statement that if somebody asked me, I could answer in the affirmative and say, yes, I do know the Earth is flat and this is why. Yeah, we've spent a very long time, this gentleman that's supposed to be representing us, not being able to answer that question to the point that it's actually embarrassing now. But there's a double purpose to this review, because this man should not be speaking for us anymore.
Exactly.
You know,
he shouldn't be speaking. I'm glad you said that at the end. He shouldn't be speaking for us. So the jig is up, isn't it?
Yep.
He's been punting himself as a flat earther, and Jesse has exposed the real agenda. So while we've been chastised and, you know, ostracized from a community that if you're still part of that community thinking it's a flat earth community, you're wrong. Yeah? The people who are actually flat earthers, that's us, have had our nose shoved out, and the community that was flat earth has been hijacked. It's no longer the community that people who believe they're in a flat earth community is. What it actually is a true earth community. You've been lied to again. And it's what we've been telling you for about 5 years. Yeah? The next bunch of gurus will hijack you if you just fall victim to the exact same folly that you fell victim to with the globe. You'll get duped again. And here it is. You were told you were in a group of flat earthers. That is to say, people who know Earth is flat. That's us. And what do you know? No, you're not. They can't even answer in the affirmative when asked if they know that's the case. Can't even say yes. So for all the people that went, oh yeah, those scammers over there on Flat Earth debate, we're the real Flat Earthers. No, you're not. No. Your representatives don't care about Flat Earth.
You got it, Booger. Go ahead.
Read
my
lips.
lips. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I want
He even read it out. Okay. Read my lips. Yes.
You read my lips. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Nathan, you articulated that very well. Thank you, sir.
1 second, Kiwi.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, I think Adam wants to say something as well.
No, just to hold QE back, Brian. That's all I want to do, because this is an important point.
Yeah, it is.
Genuinely, this is. I didn't make that statement lightly. Didn't do it for titillation. I don't want you speaking for me, mate. You've been on here and you've already denounced Flat Earth and announced you're not Flat Earth, Dave. Yeah, we thought you were. It's not curved, Dave. But you've made an affirmative statement that you're true Earth, Dave. Good. Move forwards with that. Stop linking anything you say with Flat Earth from now on. Change the title of your app, the True Earth app, because it's nothing to do with us. Stop sullying the hard work and truth that we've uncovered.
Let flat earthers be flat earthers. And if you're part of this group, Dave, Jaron, Bob, when he was alive, Whitsit, they're not flat earthers. Then here it is on display for you to all see. So wake up, smell the coffee, and for Dave, if you're listening, let us be flat earthers. Yeah, you can be whatever you like, but you're not a flat earther. We are. So that when people go out and seek out flat earthers to talk about how Earth is flat, something I can affirm very easily, they'll get us, not you, hunting your app and your True Earth and your garbage that you've basically swindled people with. So now they know the truth. You never represented Flat Earth. That's why you can't answer this question. It's not about us appealing to you to do a better job for Flat Earth, because you're not interested. You've got other agendas. And now that's been made very clear by Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. Let Flat Earthers be Flat Earthers. We'll do it from here. We'll take it from here. Thank you.
Well, the problem with David Weiss, Jerome Campanella, and I have to add him in, and it's unfortunate because he did have potential at one point, is with it. They are promoting, they're using Flat Earth as a springboard to promote some kind of geocentric, possibly globe ether world. I don't know what the hell they're at. But I see them, David Weiss in particular, I see him as the Tony Robbins of this arena. You know your man Tony Robbins, every few years he comes out with some new rhetoric and he's promoting some utter rubbish and he's getting money out of people. You know, it's all positive. It's the law of attraction. Then it's all about vibration. It's all about this, that, and the other thing. It's all about him making money for himself and scamming people who believe him. And that's what is going on here with David Weiss. They're pulling people in, getting money out of people, and go on.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. It's from Sasha. He says, I am almost sure with 1.22% of doubt.
Good one, Sasha.
Brian, you were saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying that that's exactly what he's doing. You look at people like the guy I named earlier. These type of people are out there. Not just him, but these type of people are out there, and they switch from one nonsense to another every few years, and they're drawing in people and making money out of them. This is what he's doing. He's switching now from flat to true Earth, and he switched from density and buoyancy to dielectric acceleration, and and now ether has been brought in. He wants to talk about. He keeps on during this. He kept on bringing up. It's not rotating. Why do you keep going to that? That's always part two. Part one is whether it's a globe or it's flat. But you keep avoiding that part and going to part two. Why? What is it about part two that you want to talk about? Because, yeah, I know what it is. I don't need to name it out here. He's a scammer. Yeah, he wants to talk about part two because part two is where they start bringing in ether. The rotation part is where they start bringing in ether with their Mickelson, Morley, and everything else. That's why he wants to go to part two. He doesn't want to talk about part one because that's actually not important to him. He doesn't care whether people.
Let me just do it. You're skirting it, and I'll just do it because it's quicker. Right? He wants to affirm the consequent. If the sky is turning, then we have ether. We have ether because the sky is turning. That's what he wants to do. And in order to do it, he needs to take a globe Earth belief in Earth turning to cause that apparent motion of the stars and juxtapose it in with his scammy ether belief. There you go. That was quicker than you skirting it, Brian.
But it was wrong. I've got to correct you. Nothing to do with the sky turning. The sky turning disproves Earth rotation. What they've got is if fringe shift in the Mickelson-Morley, if fringe shift, nothing to do with the sky, guys, whatsoever. Yeah, if fringe shift, then ether. That's your affirming the consequent.
That's the real affirming. That's the real affirming the consequent. Adam's not correcting me, by the way. He's just pointing out the real affirming the consequent.
He is.
I was adding detail, Nathan.
Yes.
A nuance of the.
That's how you do it, Brian. You don't just assume that he's knocking me like a sensitive little flower.
A North African flower.
Forcing me to answer this, I'll answer it. It is either flat or 1,000,000 times bigger than they tell us.
There you go. There's your choices, people.
Right, and at that point, right. So, by the application of logic, then you already know his answer now. So when the question is, do you know it's flat? The answer is no now, because he's answered well, there's two possible outcomes, which means then you don't know it's flat, do you? Because you've just said it could be this or this, which means that's not definitive. Let your yes
need
just
to
be
hear that
yes
again.
and your no be no's. Hey, Neil. Go on, son.
Thanks, Neil.
I need to hear that again because I was doing something. Did he say what I think he just said?
What did you think he just said?
Let's just pull a fiver and we'll find out.
Flat or
Super chat.
That'll help out Super Mario, Superstar, Super Glue, Super Booger.
It's pandemonium.
Sasha sent, but first define for sure and define no doubt.
Yeah, good one, Sasha. Sasha, he's a sharp.
Define for sure. Define having no doubt. Well, if we describe no doubt as a table.
Yeah, Sasha's particularly sharp today.
Yeah, he's right on it, isn't he? Sasha's on fire.
Go ahead, Neil. Do you want me to? He did say what you think he said. He gave you two choices.
Let's hear it.
All right, do it again. Here we go.
Or 1,000,000 times bigger.
Sorry, I needed to go one more fiver. Here we go.
So I'll answer it. It is either flat or 1,000,000 times bigger than they tell us.
There you go.
Can you get the volume any higher on this?
Get him out.
Yeah, you go into the View QE Live and turn up the volume. So go ahead, Neil.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I'm sorry, I'm new here.
Okay.
It's okay. It's just an internal volume control for each participant in the show. Let's carry on.
I want you totally out. I'm going to put a hit on him.
I can't have any of that, Neil.
So what?
It's either flat or 1,000,000 times bigger than they tell us, so we can't detect any curvature.
So you
Because at
don't
the
know
size
for
that it
sure.
is-
So you don't know for sure if it's flat or not.
There you go. Another one, Nathan. Where are we at?
No. That's not
It's
another
a statement rather than a question.
Statement. Exactly, Nathan.
No.
He's now called Dave out. After how many
I take
times?
that. No.
That is a
It's
question.
still phrased as a rhetorical question. Let's
Yes,
just
it's
get
a
this squared away. That is a question. It's phrased in a rhetorical manner.
Yep.
So you don't know that Earth is flat is an invite to answer, therefore a question.
Yes. Here we
Whilst
go.
also simultaneously being a statement on his behalf.
Here we go.
Simultaneously,
So you
yes.
got
Yes.
Isn't it?
Let's just
It's
square
an
this away,
assessment
QE,
at this
because
point.
we're all about the pedantics of this. Yes, Adam, it is simultaneously a statement. Yes.
The reason I'm being pedantic on it is because how many times has he asked it? Is it 18, 19 to this point?
19 to this point.
That would be the 20th. That would be the 20th.
This will be the 20th,
hasn't-
19th to this point.
This is now the first point that he's done that, isn't it? And that's why it's noteworthy.
Okay. Here we go.
It's
Hear
only
it again.
19 times.
Here we go.
Or 1,000,000 times bigger than they tell us, so we can't detect any curvature.
So you
Because at
don't
the
know
size
for
that it
sure.
is-
So you don't know
well-
for sure if it's flat or not.
Here, I'll tell you this.
That's a question.
Right. Stop, Nave. So last night, when we ended up making an indictment with regards to Lumpy, there comes a point in your polite conversation when you've let them speak, you are able to make a positive statement. And he's now making it to me. He's not done it before, but he's now making. I've not seen this, yeah. But he's now. I would think be where I am and happy to now challenge the guy because he's now confirmed to me that actually he doesn't. Yeah, fundamentally, I've got it because he's just demonstrated it to me, just like we did last night. We didn't throw accusations straight away. Yes, he's not. He's asked 19 times.
20.
Now
I'd agree with that. And now that he's reiterated it as a statement of fact, it takes away the ambiguity of it being a questioning statement. I would agree with Adam now. I didn't before on the first attempt. It was phrased as a rhetorical question. Upon reiteration, he has, you're absolutely right, Adam, rephrased his question to a statement because it's conclusion time. And it's about the limit that I would put on it normally, right? And that's to say, if it's somebody that you've dealt with many, many times, the limit's 10. If it's a new person, the limit's 20, typically, before you start making conclusions rather than asking it. You've given them the opportunity. haven't been forthcoming. Now it's time for some conclusions. So I would agree. He's asked him 19 times.
No, it's 20. It's a darn question, and we're moving on.
Then it's
If
20.
the Earth was
well,
a
then it's
million times bigger
21.
than they told us.
21. If it's 20, it's 21 because he's reiterated it and then done it again.
Okay.
Now, so that's another
Okay,
one.
fair enough. Good. We're gonna move on.
Sure if it's flat or not.
Here, I'll tell you this. If the Earth was a million times bigger than they told us, that means there's a million times more the number of continents and a million times the resources.
There you go.
Prove it. If this speculative garbage is the sort of nonsense we would stamp out immediately on flat Earth debate. Prove it. Substantiate your claim. Now we've segued onto something that's different, because you're now making unsubstantiated claims, speculatively, admittedly, but that doesn't get you off the hook. All right.
They're ball-based. If it's a million times bigger, then we've got a million times. Yeah. If it's this side of ball, then we've got this. We've got diamond rain on this part of the ball. He's now mitigating in a ball paradigm.
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
Supposed to be telling me why it's flat.
Why doesn't he just say, yeah? I mean, if he's
can't.
asking
He doesn't.
20 times, why doesn't he just say, yeah, I know?
Because he's
So
not
I
a
asked-
flat
well, Let me
earther.
answer you. Exactly. He's not a flat earther, but let me just answer you in context. If I ask you a question that you're unsure of, as in you don't know, and you're being asked a yes or no closed question, then it's going to be very difficult for you to answer. And that's what you've seen, isn't it?
But he knows, right?
No, he doesn't. That's the point. He'd just say yes, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He's not. What makes you think he knows?
Because
Because
he's like the spokesperson for this fucking
his
movement.
his name.
Let this guy get his outrage out because
Go ahead.
So you're
he's
saying
struggling
he's
for a reason.
controlled opposition then?
No, Vara, no. That would be a step too far. What we've witnessed in this bit with Jesse is Dave, Flat Earth Dave, demonstrate and make the admission that he doesn't know it's flat, to the point that he's given a dichotomy of what he thinks it could be, flat or really, really big. So it's not what we think, it's what he said. Have you been listening? I know you've just joined, but have you listened to what Dave said and admitted to? This is why Jesse's got to the point of changing it as a open question or a closed question, and to me, make it an allegation, because he's gathered the evidence maybe to make that change, to start it with, so you don't. Yeah, that's to me significant here, and the only reason isn't because he's suddenly getting aggressive. It's because he's gathered the evidence that Dave's given him to demonstrate that Dave doesn't know it's flat.
But Jesse's just, blissfully ignorant. I know that because I
Jesse
followed him
is a very
multiple years.
Hold on, Adam. Just go ahead, Vara.
Yeah, he's just an old dog who's, not willing to let go of any of his beliefs or his knowing about the ball. It's like most old people, right?
We're not going to go. No.
Let me
Oh, brother.
This is silly, because we're not here to review Jesse's interviewing techniques. He's done very little other than ask one question 19 times. So, however that an old dog don't need teaching new tricks, because all he's done is politely ask one question. And as I just outlined, in doing so, Dave has provided all the evidence to answer that question, even though Dave himself won't. Do you understand that point?
Right. Saying what I said, saying what I just said.
Yeah, throw my 2 cents real quick.
Yes,
He's willingly just
on
ignoring.
Jesse.
Hold on, we'll just let Vara round out and then yes. Go ahead, Vara. Do you want to just round out, or had you?
Yeah, well, I don't want to make this about Jesse, but I was just giving my opinion on why is he seemingly just keep asking the same question?
Because he's
over
not
and
getting
over.
an answer. That's why.
If Dave
He's
was
not getting any answer.
Can everyone stop rumpusing Vara? He's nearly there. He's got about 3 more sentences.
I'll land
tops.
soon. Let me finish. I'll land soon. If Dave would just ask him or answer him the first time, yeah, I know for sure it's flat, it's measured flat, blah blah blah. Maybe they would have had a better conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Who is the guy?
Oh,
Who
he would have
wants
got
to?
gas handed to him then.
Platypus.
Hold on, join the queue.
Platypus.
Okay,
I heard
Platypus.
his voice, so that's Platypus in here.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to commend Jess on his ability to parry these Jedi mind trick, try and get me to not answer the question things that he's done 20 times here. Where you pause the video, that is the look, that is the face of a man who refuses to do anything other than get the answer to his question.
Completely agree.
You're one step away from being a flat earther.
Hey, let's not get into that with him. Super chat.
Supersonic, super booger.
Roger Ledwell sent for Sasha the word Smith. Love it.
The wordsmith.
So the wordsmith.
Yeah.
Yeah. As he's here, though.
Super like that.
One sec. As he is here and he's piped up, thank you for your contribution to Divergent Droid's campaign.
Platypus.
Yeah, thank you, Platypus.
Oh, you don't need to draw attention to that. I appreciate it, though.
I do, because I'm going to use it to segue into suggesting that people donate to the campaign. So I appreciate the sentiment from you, and I like the modesty and all that. But I am going to definitely use it as an opportunity to suggest that the people in the live stream chat check out that link, and if nothing else, share it with someone else, which is to say it costs nothing to share the link, and there's a share button on the campaign that is going by in the live stream chat right now. If you want to leave some kind words, there's also a prayer button. But obviously, ultimately, we'd love if you would actually support Divergent Droid, who's having a bit of financial strife at the moment. So the link's going by in the live stream chat. If we do get any more contributors to that campaign, they will get a thanks on this live stream. So smash that link, have a look right now. Like I say, share it or leave a nice comment for Divergent Droid. I'm sure there's more nice comments that Divergent Droid could be getting at you, if nothing else. So leave him some nice comments. This is your opportunity to share your love with him, because he's such a great moderator, and I know you all know exactly who he is, because you all have seen him every single show. So we all like the guy, and that's why we're hoping to support him by, shouting out his campaign that he's set up. So the link's going by right now, and yeah, thanks again to Platypus, because he was a big contributor, and I know he doesn't want any more embarrassment. I'll take that hint. I'm not suggesting he starts getting into his contribution that was very, very generous, but hopefully more will do the same. That's it. I'm done.
Here we go.
That's a big problem. I'll go with that. So it's either a million times bigger or more, or
why
it's flat.
Why on God's flat Earth would any flat earther say, "I'll go with that"? I'm sorry to interrupt straight away. The mitigation, the way you're presenting yourself, all you're doing is showing that you don't know it's flat. As you've proudly outlined that you know it's that you can't measure the curvature, because it might be a really big ball.
He doesn't even know the human model.
Go on, Anil.
I'm saying, it can't be bigger anyway, so he doesn't even know the heliocentric, what do you call that? I forgot the word.
Paradigm.
Claim.
Yeah, that word, paradigm. He doesn't even know that, because it can't be bigger.
Yep, we already been through that. Yes.
Adam, your problem is you're not open-minded enough to become a true earther. To realize that if you could go past the ice wall, there might be a greater expanse that you don't know about, and they might have other forms of ether out there. Dave is not a flat earther. He's admitted that he's a true earther. When it was push come to shove, he's a true earther. And Whitsitt calls himself a true earther, and I think Jaron Campanella calls himself a true earther. So there's a line in the sand there.
I've just had a message actually specifically for Adam. It says, "Adam, we used to be where you are now." It's from the True Earthers.
Hi, Nathan Oakley. Nathan Oakley.
Me. Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Can you recommend any good books on the flat Earth?
No.
Okay.
Not yet. Well, you know,
in the future.
So there's like none.
There'll be several soon.
Okay.
Can we move on?
In many
I mean,
languages.
no, but that's unfair, isn't it? Like to Mr. Samuel Rowbottom.
Yeah, it is.
There are a few, but you know, publishing takes time, doesn't it? These sorts
What
of things.
you'd if someone asked you, you'd recommend Scientism.
Well, yes, I would encourage anybody to read that and also recognise that exact point you made. That this man is a aestheticist. However,
I wouldn't recommend you read that book.
I think that's essential reading for anybody entering in this topic. It's historical and it's essential because it's going to be thrown at you.
No Romeo and Juliet, I'm telling you that.
Ryan?
I don't throw people like Rowbottom underneath the bus like Nathan. I won't do that just because.
You're asking what you won't do. Just recommend a bleeding book.
Come back to me in about a year and a half.
That's what I said. Sorry, Angelo. Is it Angelo? Angelo? Did you say your name?
Anglo.
Sorry, no recommendations at the moment. I wish I had.
Okay.
I've got one. The Almanac.
There you go. That's a perfect recommend. That's a definite yes. I've got a tick next to that. The Almanac. There you go.
The pilot's aerospace handbook.
There you go. There's another one. I'd recommend that too. Those are both exceptionally good flat Earth reads.
It's surveying books.
There you go. They come in flick and fast.
Is that it?
Geometry.
Is that it? Yeah, third grade geometry. Intro to third grade geometry. There you go.
Thermodynamics.
Yeah, you forget that grade school stuff sometimes. Good to remind yourself.
Yeah, yes, they do.
All right, let's carry on.
Don't know for sure then if it's flat. You're just taking a guess as
No.
the other people who say that it's round like a ball.
No.
So the round ball people are taking a guess about it, and you're taking a guess about it because you don't know for sure that it's flat. You don't know for sure and without a doubt that it's flat, right?
So the people that say the Earth is a globe.
That was a question.
I was just stopping it.
Yeah, that was a question. So he added the word right with a question mark at the end of it. That was a question. I'd call that 20. There was 2 affirmations, and I'd call that number 20.
They have dimensions. We've disproven those dimensions.
But you still didn't prove anything.
We know for sure that it's not a globe the size that.
There you go. Come on, play.
They tell us.
So
for sure.
But you can't prove that the Earth is flat.
Well,
you try to prove that the Earth is not. You try to prove that the Earth is not.
Well, just rumpus.
Oh my God! If you're not yelling at your screen right now, then you're not a flat earther as far as I'm concerned. Because you should be yelling at your screen. Just say yes.
It's just
I promise you, it's not just the flat earthers that are yelling at their screen for this guy to just answer the question. Just say yes or no. I don't know is an acceptable answer. Say I don't know. Christ.
There you go.
I've got to sit back.
Sorry.
Go, Flatsy.
I was going to say that was a no true Scotsman fallacy. I was not yelling at the screen, and I am a flat earther.
I'm going to sit back from my mic from this one. Say it! Say it!
Did I just get called out for a fallacy by Flatsy?
Yes, you did.
My word.
Matrix, that was classic. Thank you.
Actually, it's a no true Scotsman's fallacy, so sit your ass back down.
Here we go.
Round by saying it's not round, but it's flat, but you don't have any, you don't know for sure and without a doubt that it's flat either.
Not flat like this. This is not real. This
Oh,
is what you'll
God.
find if
But
you
you
look
don't
for flat
know
Earth.
that.
My
Well,
word.
Why would you even show that? Oh my God.
Well, we still need to pay attention to what Jesse's saying, as Adam pointed out earlier, right? What is Jesse now saying to him? He's now telling Dave, you don't know it's flat, do you?
Yep.
That's what Jesse's putting to Dave.
Yep.
Schooling him, right? And Dave's next response is, well, I know it's not flat like a pizza dicks in space as a defense. This is what we've got, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking on your behalf, a very honest, genuine man that would probably listen to the arguments that are put over here, with open ears, not bias, but actually listen and give it an opportunity. But what's he actually listening to? This. Well, it's not this. What? A pizza in space? Thank God it's not, Dave.
Let me do that right now. I know QE's keen to get the play button pressed. So when we are in the similar position, as in we're having to defend what is claimed to be our belief in a flat Earth, we would first correct the fact that it's not a belief and then point out how Earth is measured flat. That is to describe things that are put into practical application, like mapping, with elevation angle measurements with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. That's Earth. Elevations themselves for mountains and valleys, as described earlier, described with respect to that plane of reference. For navigation, you are literally treating the entire Earth as flat because you're treating it as a single referenceable plane to get a baseline from. It's to say part of the angle measurement of Earth to navigate with Earth and develop all the maps of Earth use these angles. The system we know of as latitude is developed with an angle measurement off a flat Earth to Polaris, one line up to the star, one line along the ground to a ground position below Polaris. That's how our latitude system's developed. The reason I'm interjecting at this point is so that if, for the sake of argument, Jesse came along and listened to this show, there would be a point in the show where we absolutely, without question, lay out why we would be able to just say yes. And if it was followed up with, how do you know Earth is flat? Logical follow-up question. We'd say all of what I've just said as a justification for why we are in no doubt that Earth is flat. That's how it is measured. I wanted to drop that in. I'm done.
Not flat like this. This is not.
Super Bowl,
Super
Super
potato.
Bowl, super potato?
Super like. It's super like.
Roger Ledwell sent, to quote someone famous, answer the effing question.
That's a good. I want to answer the question again. If he put that question to us, this is what I would say. Yes, sir. The Earth is observed, measured, surveyed, built upon, aviated, mapped, and navigated flat. Which one of these would you like to discuss in detail from this point on of how it is observed, measured, surveyed, built upon, aviated, mapped, and navigated flat? Your pick, Jesse.
Not real. This is what you'll find if
But you
look
don't
for
know
flat Earth.
that.
Well, we know it's not this.
You don't know that.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't. You don't even know if it's flat or not.
Well, it's your definition of flat.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. You don't even know if it's flat or not.
But let me
This is
ask this. I'll
amazing.
move
I'm
on
just
since you
waiting.
don't know.
Hold on. Go ahead, Vara, again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Dave to say something and then pause, and Jesse will have this dumb look on his face, and he will say, "Amazing," and move on to the next point.
Yeah, Brian.
Well, it's your definition of flat.
But let me ask this. I'll move on since you don't know for sure and without a doubt. But let me ask.
Flat or a million times bigger, I think that either one of those says something.
So it could.
Yeah, it says something. Says you're a moron. That's what it says.
Be round, but it's just million times bigger than what you can see. So it could be round then, right?
That is true. But
Oh, that is
Oh my
true.
God. Just if you
Yeah.
subscribe to Dave because you're a flat earther, now you know that you've subscribed to the wrong man. Because if you were subscribed based on his lie that he's flat earth Dave, now you know the truth.
Yep.
It's been asked, so it could be a big, massive ball, therefore a round surface. Yeah, that could be true. As flat earth Dave. He's a charlatan. No other word for it.
Maybe
I can't believe he said that.
I know. Flat Earth or round, but a million times bigger, Dave.
Yep.
His suffix gets better the longer this goes.
Even the ballers can't believe your behavior here, Dave. Tell them again, platypus.
I can't believe when that guy asked the question that he said, yes, it's possible that it could be.
Yep.
It's just that if I could, for 10 seconds, QE, the part that's also frustrating me is Jess is making it clear he didn't bring him on to ridicule him. He didn't bring him on to make fun of him. Jess wants to engage with this guy. He wants to have a conversation with this guy, and he can't get him to answer the first fucking question. That's the part that pisses me off. It's just like from 2 nights ago. I want to see this conversation happen, and he won't let it happen.
Yep.
That is one of the loveliest things. To know that you as a baller find this frustrating and know that this man is being genuine. Imagine our position now. How long have we rambled for? And that we get to this position and this level of prominence, and this is what we get presented. Would you be a bit peeved if you were a flat earther that this is the man that's representing you now?
Dude, I don't give a shit if the Earth is shaped like a Cheeto puff. I would still be getting frustrated that this guy just can't answer a fucking question.
Please don't swear, please.
How?
please.
That's not what I asked. How frustrated would you be if he was representing you?
I'd be as frustrated as I am right now, not being invested in flat Earth. Seriously, I couldn't be more frustrated with this. But go ahead.
He's not going to empathise with you, Adam. Just give it up. But yes, it's
It's
basic.
fine. It's fine. Point taken.
Oh no, let me just point out the common ground here we would have with our opposition. The common ground we would have is not that he won't answer the question. There's actually something else. Well, I'm not saying it's not that, because that's annoying for anyone. But the actual common ground is the fact that he's flip-flopping. That's the problem. Is that when push comes to shove, he's a true earther, or it could be a globe, or it might be a big globe. It's like, you're just showing that you are, nobody can rely on you. You go around saying you're flat earth, Dave. You go around saying that the earth is this, flat earth, and it's this, and this. Then when push comes to shove, and you're held to task, you crumble. Right? You try and get out of it. You switch your position. If you're a baller, and this is Dave, Globe Earth Dave, you'd be just as Globe Earth Dave. It'd be someone who's switching their position. At least if someone's a glober, they're just a glober. They're not switching their position when push comes to shove.
Yep.
that
they're still a glober.
That would be an anti-flat earther. When they start flip-flopping, that's a good word for this. When they're flip-flopping, they become an anti-flat earther. When they're denying their own rhetoric, yeah, that's an anti-flat earther, isn't it, as we describe it? But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's flip-flopping. No matter which side of the fence you sit on, this is annoying.
Is he an anti-globe earther? Is that what Dave has become?
No, he's an anti-flat earther. He won't say that it's flat because he doesn't know that it is. It could be a bigger ball. So he's not anti-globe. He's okay with it being a bigger globe.
That's right. I was calling him an anti-glober 30 minutes ago, but now that he's admitted it could possibly be a globe, just ridiculously bigger, I can't even call him that anymore. I don't know. I don't know what to call him now.
I got a couple. I have a couple.
No, someone just called it. Someone just called it. He's actually in the category of anti-flat earther. When he said, "Well, it's not flat, got hills and valleys," he's immediately Dave's actually an anti-flat earther. I can't quite believe I'm saying it, but whoever just called that, you're right.
Be round, but it's just million times bigger than what you can see. So it could be round then, right?
That is true. But think about
my case.
He rested his case on your dumbass, Dave. He just rested it. How embarrassing.
That's probably where we could round out in terms of our coverage of this. We've probably covered enough, haven't we?
Nah, there's still a little bit left.
What if
We still have proof that it's flat.
Whoa. Forget rounding out. That is him just making a declaration. And give us 2 J's. Hear it and listen, Jesse, just give his indictment.
I think that either one of those says something.
So it could be round, but it's just million times bigger than what you can see. So it could be round then, right?
That is true. But think
I
about
read
this.
my case.
What if
we still don't have
if
proof that it's flat?
Are hiding a million times.
Right. So
I want to do a call for action based on that. How do we do this? How do we go about this? We need to proactively disavow Dave from this community because he doesn't represent us. It's not like we're saying we don't feel you do a good job of representing us anymore. You're a charlatan. You know, you have inserted yourself into this community of flat earthers and you're not a flat earther. You're actually an anti-flat earther. It's not flat and it could be a globe. What the hell's... This man should be disavowed. I don't know how we go about doing that. That needs to happen. Dave shouldn't be representing us.
The John Genda already pulled his charter, so that happened. Yeah.
Can I say something strange? Is it that that he has the app how the stars working on the phone?
B.
How then he can ask himself? Maybe it's bigger. He has the app showing that it cannot be bigger.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. He contradicts himself with every other breath.
I know that, but that is some little stupid thing, you know, like how. For example, if I discover something, you know, if I discover the car, a 5-meter car, you know, and then I'm selling that car, that means that car cannot be bigger.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Thank you. Here we go.
Times the number of continents. What if they're hiding that? Resources, civilizations. What if? We don't know. So
that's it. You don't know. Not we. There's no French in this. You obviously don't know.
I believe it's a level stationary.
You wait a second. Remember back in the beginning when he was using belief as a pejorative? Now he's a believer. Did you guys catch that?
Civilizations.
Listen.
What if? We don't know. So I believe it's a...
we don't care what you believe, and you just contradicted yourself at a fundamental level from where you started. Unbelievable.
Level stationary non-rotating plane. Every test done through time, through history, that looks
I'm very sorry to
rotation.
I'm sorry. When Jesse rested his case, and I said, "Oh well, this is where we should round out." I'm sure there is other stuff to cover, but from a sentimental point of view, I'm putting a pin in it at that point because why is the discussion continuing? Is my attitude. I know we're going to still cover it. I'm not suggesting we don't. Why is the conversation continuing?
I don't know.
At this point, Dave isn't our representative now. Now you're an exposed charlatan with a Ferrari garage that is not selling Ferraris. Your name above the door, Flat Earth Dave, is a con. It's not true. Your name on the app, as Sasha's just pointed out, isn't true. It's not what you are. Yeah, you're using this community to profit and further your own endeavors. Are not the cause you've got above the door. Now, this is so wrong at this point. Now it's been exposed by Jesse. It's one thing us exposing it. You might think, why are you so more outraged? Because now we've got validation for it from an outsider. Now there's a line drawn under it that we haven't drawn. It is a fact. He does not represent us. Why is he profiting from us? Yeah? So they can dupe you all into a different paradigm that isn't real. This is outrageous. This has got to stop.
It's going to stop because I just stopped. I just took the sickle to it. We're not reviewing it anymore. I had enough about an hour ago.
Fair enough. It's not just in sentiment. Brilliant. Yeah. I don't want to hear anything from Dave, and it's not that I'm going to form a picket line or anything, but by the same token, that he shouldn't be in front of people with the banner of flat Earth anymore. He's been exposed that he doesn't represent this community. That is a fact. So he should never be doing interviews about the subject ever again, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as everybody should be concerned now.
Just glad you're all catching up to where me and Brian have been for the last year.
It's not that I haven't been with you. It's not that I haven't had this feeling that we're describing now about Dave. We've all covered it before, Neil. I'm saying there's a different standard that's put on it when an outsider who has it doesn't matter that he's even on the opposition side, neutral, or on our side. He's not actively involved with this community. He couldn't give a crap. He's just got a guest. So I'm sure he didn't realise he was being so instrumental in terms of this particular endeavour from this perspective for us when he did this, Jesse, that is. He doesn't care. He's just got a guest on. He's running a show. He's producing entertainment. Good for him. Inadvertently, what he's done is exposed somebody who is using this community. Regardless, I mean, we're defending something that's suppressed. He's still using the suppressed community regardless to benefit himself, profit from it, and it's wrong. He's not a flat earther. He doesn't believe it's flat. When asked, he can't say yes. He definitely shouldn't be doing interviews and saying he's a flat earther and calling himself Flat Earth Dave. This must stop. He doesn't represent us.
I want to use this analogy. I'm going to use wings, like chicken wings. If whoever is selling a line of chicken wings and the FDA doesn't approve it to be considered wings because it doesn't contain enough chicken meat to be considered wings, and they spell it WYNGZ or something like that. That's what this reminds me of. And we're the FDA over here.
We've spent the last 2 or 3 years detaching ourselves from flat Earth in quotes and saying, we're a different faction now. The flat earthers are the people who regurgitate the Feast of Nonsense. And up until now, you go, well, that means that we must separate ourselves from the community because flat Earth isn't what we really deal with when we talk about how Earth is measured flat and how Earth is proven to be flat and how we know damn well it is and how that must be the case for a lot of functionality that we perform on Earth. So when you hear someone like Dave doing this, it leaves such a bitter taste in my mouth. It's so egregious because there's charlatans amongst us that we've detached ourselves from because they've managed to infiltrate our flat Earth community and turn it into something it's not. Well, they're not even caring about that overall premise of flat Earth. They're not us. Why have we separated ourselves out from that community? That's our community. We need to take it back and push these charlatans out. Not detach ourselves from it. Let's push these charlatans out.
I told you that 2.5 years ago. Super Booger, what you got for us? Listen to this super chat, by the way. Go ahead, Booger.
Roger Ledwell sent, I'm not Booger, but he's not going to, anyways. Roger Ledwell sent, this is the crime scene.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely spot on, Roger. Did you hear that, Nathan?
This is the crime scene. I don't understand. Maybe I'm being dumb, but I don't understand the metaphor.
It's a crime scene.
Yeah. So Neil just alluded to, I got a whiff of this there, me and Brian. Lovely. Nathan, you've said, the Feast of Nonsense. All these people were part of the community. Excuse my tolerance, but that's what they were. But what I've witnessed tonight is Flat Earth Dave, disavow himself from that. Yeah, I'm not Flat Earth Dave. I'm True Earth Dave. It could be a ball, or it could be a million times bigger ball, or it could be Flat Earth Dave. Yeah, But what he's made quite clear is he's not flat Earth, Dave. Doesn't even know what the word flat means or how he would, why he's even using it. That was the biggest demonstration. It's your fix, mate. Yeah. So you should be able to at least explain why you're using it and what you're using it. You're using it because you can't explain what flat means. But fundamentally, he has demonstrated to the flat Earth community, I do think exists, he's not part of it. Yeah? He doesn't believe what we believe. Yeah? He's a true earther. It could be a million times bigger ball earther. He's an anti-flat earther. Done.
He doesn't stand where we stand. Obviously.
He was also kind of careless, if I could make another tiny point, if you don't mind. Like, I don't know what possessed him at one point to put up that Frisbee disc Earth in space photo and point at it. Like, okay, because in chat, because now I can do that with no contact. And there you go. You got a flat earther pointing at that. You know what I mean? It's like know the stage that you're standing on and how people can cherry pick things.
That's all he had, Platypus, yeah? He didn't have anything to tell Jesse why it was flat. All he had was, it's not this pizza disc in the sky. Because he doesn't know, like, respectfully, and there's nothing wrong with this, because you can go and know why, Dave, yeah? We've tried to teach you, Dave, yeah? It's great rejection and insult. But you can know, but what he has demonstrated is he's not interested in knowing.
Hey,
you know
Nathan.
why? Because he's on his yacht and he's got a swimming lesson with his swimming master. That was the response that was given to us. The arrogant response that was shoved in Nathan's face. Along with the, science doesn't prove things. But when Nathan still went back, that was the arrogance that was put at him. Not interested in knowing whether you can prove it. Eh? He's got a swimming lesson off his yacht with his guru.
And nobody from his camp is going to pull him up on it either. Imagine one of us performing like this.
No, that's what I'm saying, Neil. When you said earlier, we've been calling this for 2 years, and I'm like, no, I've been saying it too. But this is I now get the analogy. This is the crime scene now. Right? This is where you can point to the corpse and go, hello, what's that? You still want to support this man? Why? He doesn't support you. He's just said it. He doesn't support you.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to the JLP show for holding a blowtorch to his feet. And may I suggest interviewing Austin Whitsitt next?
Why?
And ask the exact same question.
Oh, right, line them up. Yeah, line up all true earthers and ask if they know Earth's flat.
No.
No, ask them if they know Earth is true.
No, Jesse, don't go and interview these Muppets, yeah, and get more and more proof that this could all be a load of bullshit. Come and have an intelligent discussion with us, and we will demonstrate to you why we can say the Earth is flat. We know it is.
Wrap it up,
Well, now's
Nathan.
the prime.
Wrap it up, Nathan.
Somebody-
Wrap it, Nathan.
Okay. Do you not want Neil to get the last word? And it is his first time here. Go on, Neil. Now wrap it up.
I'm saying now's the opportune time to reach out to this guy to get one of us on there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask one of the moderators from the live stream chat to put a link to Jesse Lee Peterson's video. So, like I encourage on Flat Earth Debate, I want you to let Jesse Peterson know that we've made this show. So, if one of the moderators can dig out a link to his show, leave a comment that says Quantum Eraser, or sorry, I'll start that again, at Quantum Eraser sent me because they responded to your video. So that hopefully, if nothing else, Jesse knows that this video has been made so he can hear the responses that we've had to him. With that, obviously, thank you to Jesse for making that video that we responded to, but more importantly, a massive thank you to all of you in the BALLBUSTERS live stream for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hitting up the Divergent Droid Give, Send, Go campaign and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to today's BALLBUSTERS panel for making today's BALLBUSTERS possible. Thank you to Adam for making the beautiful intro and outro that we'll hear shortly. Obviously, a massive thank you to our illustrious hosts, Quantum Eraser, for making today's BALLBUSTERS possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and we'll see you in the next one.